looks like we did have a countdown and we're about ready to go here. Hopefully Yoshimitsu catches up on his gameplay here. But we are off, so we'll try to keep this brief because this is a quick speedrun. But like we mentioned before, they're looking for clears, doing a bunch in a row or combos, and when they link them together as they fall, they are chains. And the sweet spot you want to aim for here is probably like a 5 chain, and then get like 2 or 3 combos mixed in as well, and that's how you just stack efficiently. You don't want your chains to be too big because your garbage blocks become larger in size, and they'll give more screen shake, which allows the opponents to live just a little bit longer.
Yeah, and for the layman, a combo is when you match 4 or more in one go. A chain is when you're matching any number 3 and above in multiples. So it'll be a 3 and then another 3, one right after the other as they fall. That's a chain. And the stack is just what we refer to as the whole stack of panels that are in the game.
So we had a little bit of some pre-game guesses here as to who will be the favorite, because these races can go back and forth due to the RNG factor, but it looks like Monty right now has a little bit of a lead. I know Yoshi started a little bit late, so we'll have to take an account for that and see how he catches up, but he's got a stage that's trolling him a little bit right now, so Monty with the firm lead.
I took Monty, by the way, in the pre-game predictions, mostly because he's my Wario's Woods boy.
Yeah,
Monty off to a really strong start.
Yeah, each of us had a little bit of bias. I know Aries was picking FFR Pro because they're both from Canada, and I've just been friends with Cards for the longest time, so always got to have faith in him. So you guys all know Yoshi's going to win now since we didn't pick the
yeah, exactly. Also, I see in chat that this game is being compared to Pokemon Puzzle League. Yes, the Pokemon Puzzle League is a sequel to this game, essentially. What happened was there was supposed to be an N64 paneled pawn, which is the Japanese version of this game. Just imagine the whole game, but with fairies. But it got scrapped, and Nintendo gave the assets to a different company, and they decided to just reskin and kind of redo the whole game as Pokemon, so... It's one of the only Pokemon games to not be released in Japan.
It's got a 9-second.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Getting a time on a stage under 10 seconds basically means the opponent left their stack super high, and you had the foresight and you were able to read their side to tell, oh, I'm going to send a super small chain, and that'll probably kill them. Or you got just super lucky. I didn't quite see what happened there, but getting a time that low doesn't happen very often.
And it's funny, like Cypher said, you don't see a lot of times like that happen, but later on, they kind of become a little bit more common. As you can see, this run is divided into 2 parts, basically. You have stages 1 through 8, which the CPUs are just basically doing combos and doing clears. They're not really focusing on chains. And they'll keep their stacks relatively low, though sometimes they'll raise them. But on the last 4 stages, they'll play with high stacks and they'll go for those chains. And if they happen to drop them really quick, you can see a lot more of those really quick kills coming, which I think Cards has gotten like a 7-second kill on Kamek before, I want to say.
Yeah, I think there's 1 or 2 tasks of this mode floating around, and the task gets 6 and 7-second kills, so that's basically the minimum bar.
Which most of the time you won't see the runners go for, because that involves cutting off your chains early, and that can be really risky. If you don't get the kill, you might be sitting there for another 30 seconds, like Monty is right now, going on the 1-minute mark on Blarg here.
You have to actively go for that quick of a kill, so generally runners go for still a quick but somewhat safer kill, where on them being in the condition for getting a super quick kill. Getting into the later stages of the run now, and you will notice the opponents are raising their stack more, and you might see them doing different strategies in terms of sending smaller chains. I know when I used to run, I basically switched to doing like 2 sets of 4 chains. I think past stage 6, because it felt like it was more effective in terms of handling how the opponents behave in the later parts of the run.
All right, so now we are getting to that final 4 section right now. It looks like Yoshi's got quite a bit of a lead since he did start a little bit later here. But yeah, this is where you're going to see the AIs go in a little bit more and wasting. They can waste more time or they can die quickly. It's all dependent on how those chains shape up for them. But hopefully you'll get to see like a couple sub 15 seconds or maybe even another sub 10-second fight. But everyone pretty close right now. Monty's a little bit behind, but you can definitely make the comeback with these late stages.
Another cool thing about this run is it has, this is just a general fact about the game's engine, but it has several neat, like, small frame window tricks you can do, such as you can like out underneath a block that's falling in another column, and the block that you swap or you move over can sort of hold up 2 different columns at the same time if you switch that block on the right frame. And there's a number of those like really precise tricks you can do that can sort of save you in a situation where you can't continue to chain otherwise. And it's just a neat thing if a runner can do those kinds of things consistently.
Oh, did Monty take a death down at the bottom there? I think he did. Unfortunate. Deaths won't do too much to you gameplay-wise, but in a short speed run like this, it wastes like an entire stage time, and usually in a race format, it's going to be really, really hard to come back from. But yeah, we see Yoshi here. World record time had just passed for him, so you can see a little bit of the RNG in the play because he's not even on the last stage yet. But he's got a pretty commanding lead heading into Bowser. But this is when things can go all downhill. Bowser just likes to chain upon chain. His cursor speed is ridiculous at this level. And you can get a 10-second kill, or he can control you for even 2 minutes.
Yeah, Bowser's really the only opponent in this run that'll remind you of opponents in Super Hard Pokemon Puzzle League. Speed and his penchant for clearing endlessly at times.
Looks like FFR got a death there as well.
Everyone just getting in their warm-ups, I guess, right now. They're like, even though it's a race, take some deaths, get them out of the way, and try to get some good attempts later on. It looks like Cards might make the comeback here, though. Yoshi is getting close to this kill, but Bowser's just finding clear after clear right now.
There's really nothing you can do about it. As much of this in this run as opposed to other versions of Panels Upon, like we've been talking about Pokemon Puzzle League. The super hard run in that, basically every single opponent is crapshoot in terms of whether they'll clear or not. In this game, the AI is not as smart, and like a lot of times they'll kind of keep their cursor in place while they wait for your garbage to finish falling. And then like once it's come to a standstill, then they'll start trying to clear. So sometimes that happens, which this game is much more, oh, looks like Cards did take it in the end.
Yeah,
Damn.
There he goes. He ends up taking it.
I see a dead Bowser on the floor there on his stream.
Hopefully his internet didn't cut out as soon as that happened, but yeah, I guess he ends up taking it RTA wise. I'm not sure when Yoshi finished there too. If they would have started at the same time, it probably would have been really close.
And I don't know what was the cause of that delay. If that was like on his end or internet problems or what.
But yeah, FFR coming in a close third place there as well. Made up a lot of ground to come back on Bowser after that death. And then we got Monty on Bowser right now. Let's see if we can see that quick kill at display here. Bowser has a high stack, but not quite the follow-up that he wanted to take out Bowser there.
Bowser, it did look like Bowser was in a position there to get killed quickly, but he didn't quite have the coverage ready to do it. And Cards' stream is still frozen on my end, so hopefully...
33-second clear, not too bad.
Yep, Monty does end up finishing that, and now as FFR and Yoshi have already jumped into, we're just going to be seeing regular attempts from all these people. So this game, especially at stage 1, Lakitu just seems to be like a troll most of the time. So you will see resets all the time at this first stage. Because me personally, I think it's one of the hardest ones to do in the run.
I would say that probably in the first 2 to 4 stages, if the opponent clears at all, they're just going to reset. It's always really satisfying to see those big, like, ×9 and ×10 combos. Those are really cool.
So, as I mentioned before, in order to get the world record here, I wish I would have done the calculations beforehand, but they're going to be shooting for that sub 20 range, especially at the beginning stages, because you want as much leeway as you can towards the end of the run. So even sometimes they'll be shooting for 11, 12-second times. Those are pretty common if they can get the right setups for garbage and combos and chains.
Cards is on the credit screen right now, so I wonder what's going on with his setup.
He has what he deems poopnet issues. There are just random days where his internet will just go to complete garbage.
That's unfortunate, but how the other 3 are doing right now. I think Yoshimitsu is on a decent run right now into stage 3.
Yeah, he's got the appropriate garbage sent there too, so he's going to get a 12-second kill on Poochie, and that's what you're going to be aiming for. You want those 11, 12, 13-second kills. They're all really great, and I want to say going into like a 4-minute pace after the first 8 stages is a really good run if you want to chase that world record time.
One of the things that you will probably see on Cards' screen actually is there actually is RNG manipulation in this game. Cards figured it out after a lot of trying to look at the RAM values and everything in emulator. But basically, he found it for Panel de Pawn, the Japanese counterpart, and it involves looking at the blinking eyes of the characters. So in Tetris Attack, it's Yoshi. So he waits a certain moment, and then he counts, like, I think 4 Mississippi or something, and then he hits A, and that's the perfect RNG he gets. So you're going to be seeing a lot of resets from him until he gets that RNG. And it means that he gets to start off the game with the exact same panels every single time. And if he doesn't get, like, whatever second clear that he wants on it, he's just going to keep resetting.
And it's super consistent because the AI is going to do the same thing and react every time. So it's down to a science just how quickly, and he'll get that same time every single time if he gets that seed. And I'm pretty sure he has it for a couple stages after that as well, but it's frame perfect timing again. And if he doesn't get it, he'll most likely just play on with what's given there.
Yeah.
We got FFR the farthest along right now on stage 5. He's been getting pretty solid times here. A big thing here is we did stress that combos are pretty good in that they're smaller garbage blocks and they generally stack faster and get quicker kills. These guys are going to be trying to link those within their chains, and sometimes you'll see what's called the lag chain, which is like alternating 2 chains at the same time, so they just like stack up quicker and quicker.
Yeah, one of the I guess more advanced strategies that you want to employ is your chains at a quicker pace than just the default like 3 clear into 3 clear into 3 clear, because like that'll send a big chain to the opponent, but it's not very fast. And want to send your chains quickly just because it's faster, but like if you get into the opponent more quickly, it's more likely that they'll be in a worse position to respond to your garbage. So yeah, like BB Forku was just saying, if you put combos, if you weave combos within your chains, then you'll add an extra line of garbage that'll take up like an extra line on the opponent's screen when it finally drops, with not like a comparatively smaller amount of time spent on your screen to do so.
We saw Cards finally get the RNG on his end. 18-second there, still pretty good. You can run with that. But on his first 2 stages, he had both 11s. And I'm not sure if the second stage was part of that RNG as well. But that first one definitely was him manipulating it.
I haven't been paying attention to how good FFR's pace is, but heading into stage 8 here, I think he's got to run pretty deep.
I think at this point, he can't get the record. I think he just kind of wants to go through the game, and sometimes you just want to get a feel for those later stages, because heading into stage 8 at almost 5 minutes, I want to say it's maybe theoretically possible, but you would need the quickest stages of all time to still get it. But yeah, 2 minutes for the last 4 stages, that's pretty impossible.
When I ran this game back in the day, I paid more attention to in-game time than I did real time, so I don't have like real-time splits in my head for the various stages. I think that the in-game time equivalent for the record is something like 3.1x, I want to say, right?
That is a good question. I guess we could bring up the record for it and just do a quick division, but
I think it's on speedrun.com. It's just I don't want to type because my keyboard's really loud.
I got you. Yeah, the in-game time is not easy. My bad. The in-game time's 3:17.
That's okay. So it is like 21 second per stage on average, roughly. Have like anything above 20 seconds, that's hurting them.
So it's a total of 197 seconds. You divide that 12 times, and Cards Run averages around 16 and a half seconds per stage for the world record.
16 and a half seconds. I think he had like 2 stages above 20 seconds in his run. That's how insane his RNG was.
Mm-hmm. And which those 20-second ones can hurt, but I definitely recommend watching his run, because the last 4 stages are absolutely insane. The like luck he gets in it, and the enemies just die so quickly.
It also looks like Cards let us know in the chat here that he does have some RNG manipulation for stage 2, but he's not going to be showing off any of it, so it's not consistent enough, I guess. Those insider tips.
I'm pretty sure he currently is the only person to do that kind of manip as well. And like we mentioned before, not only on Tetris Attack, but he mainly did it on Panel de Pon before, which we could talk a little bit about that game, because even though this is a reskin from Panel de Pon, the speedruns are actually very, very different in which you want to approach them.
Yeah,
Funnily enough. Well, I'll let you go.
Into Panel de Pon back when I was more invested in this game personally, and I found that the AI is actually different between the 2 games, and probably Cards could speak in more detail about this. But I do believe the AI is different. Like, the AI has more proclivity towards clearing in Panel Upon. And I'm pretty sure also there's something different about the block speed, the block following speed in Panel Upon. So there are some minor differences that lend it toward being a more difficult to complete run than Tetris Attack.
Yeah, you'll definitely, if you ever watch a video of that compared to Tetris Attack, you'll see the runs. They do a lot more combos and chains to top off the opponents. Because especially some of the later matches I've seen, the opponents will just stick with like 1 to 2 rows of blocks and just try to clear everything as possible. So you literally have to crush them dead.
I think another difference that I'm remembering right now is in Panel Upon. I mentioned that the opponents, the CPUs, when you drop garbage on them, sometimes they'll just like keep their cursor still while the garbage is clearing, and then they'll start moving once it's done. In Panel Upon, their delay before they start moving again is shorter, and so that's just like another thing contributing to them toward clearing more often.
So we have Monty going into his run right now. Obviously, the world record has passed. Like I mentioned before, a lot of these runners do just like to get a feel of the entire run as it is. Or you might see if he gets trolled enough here, he might just like, you know what, I'm not going to finish the rest of this run. We'll just quit it now and head back into the next attempt. But you see RNG taking its course right now. Barely any stages or runs have gotten past like stage 2 or 3 right now. But we have cards on the right RNG sequence again, so he's going to try to test his luck here.
Really need to have a love for the game to run a puzzle game like this with so much RNG. And at the end of the day, it comes down to you need that level of consistency to make quick chains consistently. And then it's basically up to AI whether they clear or not, and that's the run. And there's some more nuance to it, like you need to be able to monitor what the opponent's doing, so you can tell when to cut off your chain, etc. It really is a lot of dedication and dealing with frustrating RNG.
I think it's cool to watch a game like this. It's hard to see if you're not too invested in it, but you can tell the different play styles of each person. Like, specifically, I like to watch Yoshimitsu. He's a person who's played the game for a while, but I'd say kind of relatively new to the speedrunning scene. And his gameplay is so combo focused. Between him and FFR, I'm not sure who has the fastest cursor speed, but Yoshi definitely can build up that garbage quicker than anybody else, I would say. Which can be good for him, or it can be his downfall, because when the opponent does make the clear, that's a lot of blocks that are going to be sent on the opponent's side, so they have a lot more room to scan and look for more clears to delay the game.
Yeah, because one of the things FFR is known for his line clear world records, the SPA service. So if you end up comparing his gameplay style to everybody else, you'll see a bit more differences there.
I say that one thing I really enjoy when I watch another skilled Tetris Attack player, a Puzzle Week player, is seeing them go for different clears than I would go for in the same situation. Like when I'm watching someone play, I'll just be watching their board and I see, oh, like there's the yellow's clear right there, and then there's the red clear right after that. But then they might go for something totally different than what I was seeing, and they'll get like a ×13 chain off that, and it's just really cool to see that people have little variations in their pattern recognition.
Yeah, it's very different watching a game like this because there's a lot of different right answers that you could do in comparison to a puzzle game like, let's say, Tetris. where there's only so many correct moves that you can see. If somebody does a misdrop, you can very clearly tell that it's a misdrop. While in this game, what's something that looks like it might be wrong actually ends up just being them cutting off their chain, or them getting a chain that you didn't even see at first because there's so many separate colors. And they saw that if they move that one from the very edge over to the other edge, then it's going to work for them. So
I want to reiterate what CFB said in the chat, by the way. Like, working combos into chains on a consistent basis is actually incredibly difficult. Another detail about that, working combos into chains, is that multiple 4 combos into a chain, because 2 4 combos just puts 2 3 blocks in the same row in the eventual garbage that gets sent to the opponent, and that doesn't actually add to their line height. So you want to get like 1 4 combo and then the rest be 5 or 6 combos, and it's really difficult to find those 5s and 6s on short notice when you're assembling a chain. That consistently it's always really impressive to me.
So a little bit ago, we had 2 runs that did make it quite far on both Cards and Yoshi's screen. They kind of reset about the same time, but they had like a 3-minute pace going into stage 6 and 7. And that, I feel like that can be one of the most awkward parts of the run. It's when the AI is still keeping their habits of just like going for some clears a little bit slower, but their cursor speed's just that little bit faster. And all it takes is 1 garbage clear from the opponent, and it's going to waste, 10 to 20 more seconds trying to beat it. But here comes Cards again. He's going to get that 11-second stage off of that RNG manip. It's really cool watching because he sets up that 9 combo for it and everything, and then...
like resets pretty early into stage 1, I've seen.
Yeah, I think Yoshi definitely wants to get off to a really good start, or else he doesn't see the point of trying to continue. But if you just looked at like the play he did there, he just has a really good grasp on where the blocks are on the screen. And even though he didn't get that kill, he was getting the lag chains there, finding combos pretty easily.
A sensible reset, because he saw that he Lakitu lowered his stack 1 row, and thus it was like his garbage was 1 row too short to actually kill him there. He said they're like 5 seconds in, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. I haven't caught the details why he reset only 5 seconds in.
I see chat talking about this, with the name being Tetris Attack. So, a little bit of a history lesson that I might have to repeat over as new people come in, but that's fine. The game was released in Japan as Panel to Pawn. It's the same gameplay, but they had fairies. Nintendo, rightfully so, realized that a puzzle game with just fairies really won't sell well stateside, since it'll mainly just appeal to girls. So they reskinned it for Yoshi, and they asked Hank Rogers if they could use the Tetris name in it, since Tetris was also a puzzle game and was selling really well, and they wanted to capitalize on that. And Hank gave his approval for it, and that's how they sold it. Later on, Hank Rogers is on the record saying that it's the worst decision he's ever done, since this game is as far away from Tetris as you could ever get. And the game actually got back translated to Japan as Yoshi Panel to Pawn, and it's just the same game. So,
and due a little bit to that licensing and whatnot, later iterations of this game did take on the Puzzle League tag from now on, which you could see with Pokemon Puzzle League and Planet Puzzle League. And I think there was just a one on the Game Boy Advance that was bundled with Dr. Mario that was just called Puzzle League.
The naming convention of this series is strange. Like, it started out, obviously that's a Japanese like Romaji name, and then it got the Tetris tag, and then it changed to Puzzle League, and then it stayed as Puzzle League after like the third or fourth iteration of the series, and that's like kind of the series, like the overarching series title, but like you'll find that people refer to the series in several different ways depending on like which game that they played the most in the series. Like I generally refer to the series, try to refer to it as Puzzle League, but sometimes I just call it Tetris Attack while referring to the series. It's weird.
And I definitely know people who refer to it as the Panel de Pon series too, just because that was the very first one that came out. So it's a weird game in that sense, like Cypher mentioned. But yeah, you can refer to it however you please.
There's like, was he?
He's the guy who. Okay, so I'm gonna explain this right now instead of typing in chat. When the Tetris license was owned by the Russians. There's actually a whole documentary made by the BBC. I would recommend you watching it if you're into that type of thing. But back in the day, when Tetris was just getting off, there was a guy called Roger Stein, I believe, and he bought the rights from the Russians for Tetris, and then he started selling that to companies like Atari and everybody else. And Hank Rogers managed to buy also those rights as well for the Famicom version of the game. And Nintendo was like, this game is selling really well. Why do we need the rights from this Stein guy when we should get it directly from the Russians? So they sent Hank Rogers directly to Russia, try to get the rights. And it turns out the Russians had no idea that this guy was basically reselling the rights to their own product to everybody else. So Nintendo managed to buy the full console rights and portable rights for Tetris because of Hank Rogers intervening and going to Russia to get those rights for him, which later then leads into a lawsuit of Nintendo versus Atari Tengen, because Atari was making a NES Tetris made by Ed Logg, who is a pretty famous programmer, and they actually won the rights, obviously, because Nintendo said, nope, we own the rights as of this day, you cannot sell the Atari Tengen version of Tetris, they all have to be destroyed.
Actually owned Tengen Tetris. That was the version of Tetris that my dad and I played as a kid, when I was a kid.
It is, I think, the superior version of Tetris on the NES from a casual standpoint there. It's definitely not as competitive because Nintendo Tetris just gets insanely hard after a certain amount, because the Tengen Tetris, the speed curve kind of just slowly curves up. But in NES Tetris, it's like a log curve, so it just spikes. So that's why it's preferred for like speedrunning and everything else. But actual Tetris game-wise, the Atari one is definitely superior.
She is after the run here, and it looks like that he's stricter about the pace he keeps. So he might actually have a promising run going in right now.
Yeah, he's got another sub 20 fight here, and like I said before, the average is somewhere around like that 15.5 mark, or 16.5 rather. But you'll get those stages that are 11 seconds, so you can make up with the 20-second stages. But yeah, he's on a pretty decent pace right now. 4 minutes into stage 7, you definitely got plenty of time if you get those quick sub 15 fights from now on. And he actually sent a really big chain and combo here. This might be a little bit too much, but he gets lucky there. Yeah, sometimes it's just enough if the AI's got to look all the way across the screen to find that clear, then you'll end up getting those kills. But if the opponent did find the clear there, that garbage block was super big. It was going to cause a lot of shake to delay the game, and we might have seen a reset from him after that.
He would. I think he. I'm pretty sure he would have reset if Lungefish had been just a few frames quicker. That would have been easily like 10 seconds minimum added onto that time. But he's having a bad Raven here.
Yeah, that's going to ultimately lead
Raven,
to a reset.
Get back in my attempts.
Did you have a character in specific that would kind of kill a majority of the runs for you, Cypher?
I think that like Arg and one fish killed a lot of runs. Got to them in the first place, but I remember in my for my run that was on SDA, like I note that I got a good blarg when usually my blargs are awful. Maybe I'm misremembering that. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I know, like, a popular thing that is within the community, though, certain people usually just get trolled on specific characters. I want to say that a lot for, like, Pokemon Puzzle League, but even people have those characters in this game. And I remember at the SGDQ race for 2016, I believe, we had Blame Poochie signs, because that's a common opponent for people that get their runs ruined, so... Hashtag blame Poochie.
Poochie was not a problem for me, on average. Or actually, Flying Wiggler was more of a problem for me.
It's hard to say for the attempts that I've done, at least beginning game. It's probably just Lakitu, to be honest. But, man, I don't think I've ever had a fast Bowser, so he ruins everything for me. Which he probably does that for everyone too, though.
Yeah, you know, I don't think I've actually gotten a, like a sub 15 Bowser in a run. Favorite song in this game? Because this game has a lot of amazing tracks.
That it does. It's hard to say. I like... Probably Lungefish's track. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's just
that fat slat bass.
Yes. I think though one of the crowning achievements of this game is the credits music at the end of the run.
Oh yeah,
it's
that actually is my favorite song in this game, and it's one of my favorite video game songs of any game period. But in terms of stage songs. To Poochie's theme and partial to Blarg's theme. That Blarg's theme in particular like goes on for so long before it loops, and it like takes you on this oral journey. It's like the guitar goes so crazy. It's nuts. I love it. Yeah, one of my life dreams is to either participate in or listen to high quality live rendition of the credits theme from this game.
Yeah, that would be something to listen to. I'd like to hear that as well. I think anytime a lot of old music just gets redone, because, you know, they had the limitations on what they could actually make, and when you just hear it beautifully redone, it's just great.
Remember when I was a kid, there was a sound test in this game. I would just put the sound test on. I was really partial to the end game music, Kamek and Hookbill and those guys. I would put their stage music on and just let that loop for hours and just chill out.
So we got 2 runs that are, actually 3 runs that are starting pretty well right now. FFR and Yoshi both on stage 4, and Cards has got a really, really quick start with a 11 and a 10 at the beginning here. So keep an eye on those 3 as they're progressing. Unfortunately for Yoshi, he got a little bit caught up there for about 30 plus seconds on the previous stage, which isn't impossible to come back from. But, you know, sometimes you just want to test the waters and see what will actually happen in the rest of the run, because we've definitely had record runs in the past that, you know, it had one really bad stage, but everything else was pretty solid, and that's why you could get that good of a time.
Yeah, I think for the current record, there is one bad stage, but I'm pretty sure that that stage is like or something. So in the scheme of things, it's actually not that bad for like being the bad stage of the run.
It's funny to think upon a little bit of the history for speedruns of this game. It's definitely one of the earliest ones that was considered to do speedruns of, but it's had wide gaps throughout its history of someone kind of like doing runs about it and either forgetting about it or waiting until the next person to come up. For example, I know this run popped up in SDA around 2007. A guy named Iron Knuckle was, I think, the first person to have like a time road. And back then, like Cypher mentioned,
I was trying to remember who the guy before Darkwing Duck was. I could not remember.
And yeah, Iron Knuckle had a 6:19, and most or all of the times were all in-game time. If you were roughly to translate that to a run now, it was probably around 10 minutes RTA. So just about every single one of these runners can probably get sub 10 every single time. So that was kind of just like the foot in the door there. But then Darkwing, about 2 years later, cut that time down by a minute, and that's where things were kind of getting established for the game in terms of combos and chains and stuff. But it still had a lot of work to do until our co-commentator here, Cypher, in 2010, which is currently his PB now because he doesn't do attempts of the game anymore, got a 4:19 in-game time, which translates to an 8:06 RTA.
Yeah. That run being like the first run of any game I really put out, I thought it was pretty good, and desire to come back to doing runs this game since. I kind of have had a bit of interest in doing stage clear runs at certain points over the years, but I've just never really committed to doing it. I think that run, probably, it's definitely not as flashy and perhaps not as entertaining. Like, the fact that it removes the huge RNG component would make it more fulfilling to improve your time in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. And like he mentioned, he said he was, currently or could be interested in stage clear, which is something I've always adored about games of this series. This is kind of like the premier category for every game versus com, which is kind of funny because it does have, a good amount of RNG, but there's just some kind of appeal to it that makes it pretty fun to watch. But there's other things that are available in every game that's including stage clear runs, which is basically you have a set amount of lines to clear, and then once you do that, you move on to the next stage. So that just showcases speed for the most part there, and I'd recommend watching any of FFR Pro's runs of that because it showcases his cursor speed to the max there. And then as well as... Oh, go ahead, Cypher.
Cursor speed, as well as, like, finding as many clears. You don't even want to do chains in that mode. You want to do clears and combos. But you want to find as many clears that don't block each other in terms of being able to assemble other clears after that. And it's actually very difficult when, very complicated when you just hear that. But when you actually sit down to try and find like 5 clears in the span of 2 seconds, it can be really stressful and difficult. And to me, it's stressful in a good way. It's like in your pattern recognition and like your spatial awareness skills.
And then along with that category, we've had one that developed from probably what was like the go-to thing to do in this game, and that's like marathon speedruns, which time attacks in mode 2, you get 2 minutes to get as many points as you can, and that was the premier thing to do in terms of competitive stuff for this game. like back in the early 2000s, there was a website called TetrisAttack.net, and a lot of people would test their skills to see who could get the highest time on time attack, and that carried over to Pokemon Puzzle League as well. And you had different modes like 3D and different levels to consider. And that kind of evolved. The people who did enjoy that, it kind of got pushed a little bit over to speedrunning in terms of marathon, where you just pick a score that you want to go to and then see how quick you could do that. So shout outs to Blinzer, who's one of the puzzle leaguers in the community. Very, very good at the game. That's one of the main things he does. I would highly recommend watching his marathon 100K hard run on Pokemon Puzzle League. And it's just insane how fast he plays and how quick he can find chains. Because you got all three of these different modes. You have stage clear, which just focuses on getting clears and you don't see big chains. You have time attack, which is people who are doing extremely big chains the whole time. And then you have versus mode, which is kind of like a hybrid of both. You're going to want to go for chains, but you cut them off a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I'm going to second the recommendation to watch Blinzer's run. The opportunity to watch Blinzer play in person a bunch of times now. And his vision, the speed with which he moves the cursor is actually like unreal to me. I try to play as quickly as Blinzer does. I will generally make a lot of cursor errors and just flub my chains, but he's somehow able to keep it under control and pull off these chain links that, like, I feel like to play for 50 to 100 hours just to get my consistency and my controller dexterity to the level that he has it at.
While Cypher has been mentioning that, I think we have one of our first runs that has the potential of going somewhere right now. We have Yoshimitsu at about 5.5 minutes in, and he just got done with stage 9 here. So he's got a lot of work to do here, but he's definitely on pace to where something could happen here. So keep an eye on his playing field.
Yeah, I think he needs 3 incredibly good stages to have a chance, but he is late in the game and he's still on a run. Remarkable. Be that great in terms of naval prana.
He's got a good setup here too, and yeah, he gets the 11.
He got the 11. Let's go.
Okay, this could be a thing right now. He's got to hope that the opponents do play with those high stacks, and he's going to purposefully drop those chains and combos pretty short. And so, yeah, this is definitely possible right now, but he needs 2 really good stages back-to-back here. So let's see what happens on Kamek.
And then a 10, literally. Really short. Oh man, oh man.
This shows promise. Kamek's got to die right now, though.
He's
not enough.
Drop this. Ah, no, it looks over. Yeah. These random isolated clears, and you don't want them to do that. You want them to try to, like, lower their stack by, like, dropping blocks from the sides to the middle, because that's generally, like, their least efficient way of lowering their stack. Once they start doing that, you're probably going to win pretty soon. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. This is such a common thing in the late game stages that a run like Cards' recent record, the 701, is just so mind-boggling.
Yeah, and this is just Tetris attack. The perfect definition of it right here. Like, you see that run was going so well. And now Kamek's like, well, I'm going to troll you for a minute plus, which is probably the total of 3 stages altogether.
Must be a little dejected now, so he probably sort of half...
Yeah, unfortunate there. Luckily, I guess the thing that this game has on its side is that it's not too long of a run. Like, due to the nature of the RNG, it won't take long to try to get back into the run. Which is funny, because we did mention the records kind of, like, have come every 2 years or so. Especially, I guess what I didn't get back to, when Cypher did take in 2010, it took almost 5 years until the record got beat again, which it was by Cards. And then he kind of lowered it down throughout the past couple years. But this record has been beaten twice in the past month, which is actually pretty crazy. Once by Cards last week, which is the 7:01 time, and then Yoshimitsu beat it just a month ago with a 7:07. So the potential is there. You kind of just gotta... We stress that you gotta be lucky, but most of the time you just gotta be playing on your game too and just seeing all the clears on the screen, because I've definitely had a lot of runs lost to just me not playing too well.
It's also pretty funny because I think Cards got the record because he was practicing for Chase the Record.
Yeah, I remember him saying that in his comments. Reaction to, like, when Bowser died in his 7:01, his reaction is pretty good.
Dude, the classic Cards reactions. Cards is he's a pretty big person in the community. He's known for running all the games in the series. So he's held multiple world records and holds probably the most right now. Like, it's crazy. He has a clean sweep over all the categories in a Pokemon Puzzle League versus com modes. So yeah, check out a lot of his videos, especially his reactions are pretty priceless on his record runs.
He beat Monty's run in S-Hard? Because I think Monty had 1740 something, right?
Yeah, he beat... This is what's funny. He beat Yoshi by like 6 seconds, and he beat Monty by 3 seconds in S-Hard. So, Cards barely taking records.
For playing Warriors Woods for a year.
Yeah, we actually just had a Pokemon Puzzle League speedrun tournament, so we've had a lot of engagement in these games recently. We had a Tetris Attack one last year, and we've had like a lot of good PBs get set, and then we've had Cardsy record S-Hard, like we said. I believe after? No, I think it was right before the finals. I can't quite remember. But he's been putting work to these games recently, and it shows right now.
She is back at Blarg already.
Yeah, just about to mention that. Let's see what he can do right now. This is where it's going to get really tough. He was a little bit late, I want to say, or dragged on his chain a little bit too long, but he gets the 14-second time still.
Yeah, you'll see right there. So Blarg was doing some random clears, and then, like, clears. So then he defaulted to the behavior of, like, dropping blocks from the side into the middle. And once they go to that, they're just dead, pretty much.
All right, Yoshi with a really quick start. Great combos and a decent chain filled in. Is it going to be enough to top off? Oh, not even close, actually.
Lunge can be a real pain in the ass. Which actually brings his stack down really low pretty frequently. Is like, it's acceptable to have a stage that slow and like to have one stage that slow, but it's gonna really slow in other stages.
Yeah, so definitely very possible still here. I'd say this is very comparable to the last run that we saw him do as well, because he was around that 4.5 minute mark, I want to say, after Raphael here.
I just want to say that chain he started off this round with was majestic to watch. He had like lag chains, and I think he had combos, and it's like, I'm pretty sure that Yoshi can do that kind of thing with decent consistency, and it's just really impressive.
All right, another pretty long stage there. Looks like he's gonna still keep going for it. I think it's theoretically possible. I need to like pull up some personal splits or something to see what the potential for the fastest stages could like still make a world record or not.
Cards has splits on his SR.com entry. Himself is also on Blarg, so he's approaching the second half of the run, and Monty too. Pace is a little behind Cards', while FFR is in Lakitu hell.
Yeah, we kind of just seen Yoshi's run drop off right now. The past 3 stages have all been like around 20 and 30 seconds. Yeah, Monty's still going to be continuing this run. Certainly not impossible for this moment. We've seen FFR, I know he's finished 1 run, but he's pretty reset heavy at the beginning, I'd say, too, and hasn't really gotten off to the kind of start that he does 1. And Cards has been getting to that mid-game and kind of getting trolled, but I'd say he has the slight advantage just because he can get that 11-second stage at the beginning every time, if he does hit that RNG manip. Yeah, but Yoshi's just going to finish off this run. 20 seconds till the world record passes. Impossible at this moment, but it is nice to see these stages finish. And I will say he's probably the most consistent of getting these sub 8 times, which is a very exclusive club to get into. In fact, only these 4 people have sub 8s. No one else is like... There's a couple times close to it. Actually, Ming Cypher have the 5th and 6th place times on the leaderboard.
The very tip of the top is all in this race, either playing or commentating.
So yeah, now I guess we root for Yoshi getting that sub 8 here, which is very possible. He was a little bit slow on the garbage, and this is where it can be pretty problematic at Bowser, because he's going to send you big chains too, and there's just going to be lag all over both screens, because chances are
Bowser got that middle part there.
Whoa, did you see all those combos he cleared at the bottom of the screen? It's like a 6 and a 5 at the same time. That's why I personally love watching Yoshi. He, like I said before, he just loves to spam combos there. Like you just saw that entire stack go away, though.
It's funny that like certain threshold of skill and Tetris attack, like it's pretty easy to consistently make large chains, but then that you're able to assemble a large array of combos while like making chains too. That's when like you know someone is real at this game.
Well, we see Bowser doing his thing now, going on about a minute and a half. This guy, he literally ruins every run. If you don't kill him in less than 15 seconds, chances are he might troll you for a minute plus like he is right now.
Bowser in my PB is 22 seconds, so luckily he didn't go on and on, but I think he cleared once in my run. Monty is opting to finish out this run here, even though it's already past record pace. Heading into stage 5 with a decent pace, looks like.
Yeah, it's good to see FFR getting off to something good right now. Froggy gets the quick clear, which necessarily isn't the worst thing, as long as he has a decent follow-up. Because it... Oh, he went up for the second tier at the top. Yeah, that's something we Puzzle League speedrunners don't like too much. Is second tier strats are when your opponent has some blocks above their lowest garbage block, and they'll go up and find a clear there instead. So it's like kind of bailing them out and extending the match even more.
Do you though when you're actually playing versus mode? They do feel really trolly.
Cards is on a pretty good pace right now as he just finished his Flying Wiggler at 12 seconds. 2 minutes in and you finish the first 4 stages. If you repeat that, you're going to be a little bit over 4 minutes for the next 4 there. So keep an eye on him. We got Froggy, who seems to be ruining some runs every once in a while here. And he didn't get off to a good start here either. Hopefully he cleans this up pretty well.
Are you able to get Cards' splits up, by the way? Because I think they're on his speedrun.com run entry.
I checked his run and he doesn't have speedrun specifically on there. Maybe he did for an older run, I want to say. I will see if I can find that, though. His 724 was his PB before then. He does have splits for that. Let me check his current time again, just in case.
Okay. Oh, he doesn't have them there.
Yeah, but even on his 724, which is, you know, pretty decent pace along with that, he gets done with stage 8 at 441 RTA. So, yeah, they're looking at about that 4.5 minute time.
Also enters Froggy stage, like the actual boards come up at around 2:04, I want to say.
That sounds about right.
For Froggy stage entry is kind of a landmark you want to look out for if they have a decent pace going on.
Mm-hmm. It looks like if I were to take a guess during this run, he entered it around like 225. So you have a little bit of leeway. The quicker, the better. Like how he had at the beginning of this run. Though he needs to get lucky here. It looks like he didn't send enough garbage though. So I think we're expecting a reset because he kind of didn't move there at the end. Kind of frustrated probably a little bit. But yeah, I think if we're going to compare it to this 724 run, you want to look at the Froggy entry probably around that 220 mark. That's a good spot to aim for. And then the stage 8 after Raphael probably around the 4.5 minute mark. Even a little bit more because you can still get pretty lucky with the end stages. But I've definitely seen runs of the first 8 stages get sub 4 RTA, which is actually pretty insane. But then the last 4 stages just are a little bit trolly.
First 8, damn.
You'll get some crazy paces in this game, but never get your hopes up until that very final stage ends, because this game's pretty brutal. One stage is going to take it away for you.
That's kind of another reason that I watched like old episodes of Doug when I did attempts, is because like there was no reason for me to get attached to any run prematurely. And so I was just like starting runs, but I'm focused on another thing.
That's pretty interesting that you had that like mindset for it too. Was it just that the really early stages didn't take much attention, or they were just so inconsistent, or what was your thought process through it?
Like, I wasn't literally watching it while doing the gameplay. But basically, once I finished my chain, I would like go back to I would like move my eyes back to Doug, and you know, I didn't stream runs back then because barely anyone was streaming speedruns until Speedruns Live came around. Basically, that was I was doing runs of this game before that era, and I just was watching episodes to sort of keep myself more engaged. A game like this where the run can die at any stage, and it takes a while for you to become invested in a run of this game.
So we are about a little over 1 hour in of doing attempts, and if we do have some new viewers in, because I'm pretty sure we are on front page right now, this is Chase for the record. This is an event where we have 4 of the best runners duking it out trying to get the world record tonight, and this is featuring Tetris Attack. So all 5 of these runners have the 4 best times on the leaderboards. This is the versus com category for very hard. So they have 12 stages that they're going to go through and try to beat in less than 7:01, which is the world record at the middle of the screen there.
Oh, we are on front page. That's cool. Welcome, everyone. Tetris Attack is a fantastic game that I recommend everyone give a try to.
Yeah, and also shout outs to SpeedGaming for allowing us to do this. Me personally, I'm from a community called Puzzle General, and we've had so many things showcased on these channels. So shout outs to the people behind the scenes, Feasel, and everyone else. Because like Cypher said, this is a very great game, and if you love any kind of puzzles, you should definitely try this out sometime.
I take every opportunity I can get to plug Feasel and give him props because he spends a lot of his time running this channel and running these tournaments and Chase for the Record events, and we wouldn't really have any of this content without him. Once again, props to Feasel.
I guess after all of that, let's try to get back into the action here. We got Yoshi on a little bit of a run right now. It looks like this one's going to go a little bit over 20, but he's about at the 3:46 mark when he did finish that. That's a little bit behind pace, I want to say, but you have so much leeway again with the end stages that if you are behind what we said earlier, that 4.5 minute pace after stage 8, you're just gonna have to get super quick stages later on.
And once again, Lunge is just keeping his stack really low, making things difficult. But he did die there before being able to clear.
Man, that was scary. He was one swap away, and all those blues were basically lined up. And that would have turned that stage probably 15 to 20 seconds longer.
Best is when they die, when their last swap has actually been made, but the game hasn't registered the clear yet. So it's like you have the opponent has 3 colors lined up in a column, but it's like a frame away from the game actually registering the clear as happening. So they die on the last frame possible for them to die. Or Raphael, so that's going to be a big hamper. That's probably going to be a reset, actually, unless he wants to finish this run out.
I will say, since this is mentioned in the chat, if people want to do or have like a good feel of where they are, Yoshi finished that a little bit late. He's probably out of contention for the world record, but 4:30 after stage 8 is a good pace to be at. Probably 5 minutes even is probably like the most amount that you'd want, that it's still possible, but you need a lot of luck. So that's a good indication there. And then going into stage 5, because it's kind of like there's 3 parts to the run. You'll probably want that 2 to 2.5 minute mark there.
Yeah, so we have Cards here entering Lungefish, stage 7. And looks like his pace, he has a workable pace here. Seems like he wants to just finish out a run.
I guess a good way to visualize it stage by stage is you have about a 30-second leeway that gets gradually longer as you hit the end stages. Because if it was 30 seconds to every stage, that's RTA speaking, it would be exactly 6 minutes. But it kind of drags along a little bit farther as you go along. And the in-game times that you are looking for are around the 15 to 20 second range.
Oh, looks like Cards' stream stopped again.
Oh yeah, dropping frames right now. Cards has had some internet issues from time to time. Hopefully it will kick back in pretty soon because he does have a pretty nice pace heading into stage 8. So we'll try to keep you guys updated on that. But we're going to see Yoshimitsu finish off this run as FFR Monty are going through some resets. So Cypher, I know we talked a little bit off stream how you did a lot of like these old puzzle games back in the day, and specifically talking about Tetris Attack. Were you inspired by any of the runs before yours, or was it just, hey, I enjoy this game, I'm doing speedrunning right now, let's give this one a shot?
Well, I did watch runs of other games before I really investigated puzzle game speedruns. I did come across Darkwing's 12 in-game time run on SDA. And I enjoyed watching that run, but I was like, I could probably beat this run. There's like, you know, there's some slow stages. And back when I was a kid, I would just play this game on endless mode for hours and hours. That's how much I love the game. I just like, there's no point in it. I was just playing it on endless because I loved games. And so I was like, yeah, I could see myself pushing a speedrun far enough to get the record in this game. So I did it. I liked that kind of like puzzle game consistency, but like doing the same thing over and over again. I liked doing that with puzzle games so much that Woods, which is another Super Nintendo puzzle game, and I did runs of Kirby's Avalanche, which I recommend no one ever do. That was the game I've ever speedrun in terms of enjoyability. And I also messed around with Dr. Mario for a little bit, but I didn't really take that anywhere.
We had Yoshi accidentally hop in easy for a second there.
Easy difficulty.
Yeah. It's funny because we haven't mentioned this actually. There's only 3 difficulties that are on screen, and Very Hard's the 4th difficulty. You actually have to hold up and L on your controller to access that, and you'll get that red background. And we've had races where people accidentally didn't hold the right combinations and then have to restart it. Or they don't notice for like 4 or 5 stages.
Yeah, because it just shows, when it shows level hard, you can't distinguish hard from V hard from just the level icon.
Yeah, and his cards updated in chat there. He was minus 17 on his splits, which I guess that gives us a good indication he finished Raphael at around the 4:30 mark, but he was still 20 seconds ahead. But Cards had a really, really good late game.
And you can see it on the stream there. There was a freeze frame of Hook Bill at like 153. That's rough.
We got Monty on a little bit of a run right now. A little bit slower than what the world record is. Definitely still possible when you finish Froggy at hopefully 3 minutes here. Oh no, he's going to get the clear. We just like to stress this enough. This game's just really, really brutal. So just a little bit of a slip up on your end or a little bit of bad luck, you're aiming for those 15 to 20 second times, and it's so easy to get a time that's over 30 seconds.
You need to be on point the entire time.
All right, we got a pretty good start on Yoshi's in there too, as he gets an 11 second here on stage 2. That's what you like to see, your timer sub 1 minute heading after stage 2 there. Let's see what he can do on Poochie here. Oh, he might get a quick... Yeah, he gets the 14 second there, so Yoshi's looking to be on a good run right now. Monty, he's on stage 7 right now at almost 4.5 minutes in. This run might be dead pretty soon. He might just elect to finish it out. Who knows? Nope, as soon as I say that, he resets, though.
A GDQ race of this game. I want to say it was like SGDQ 2016 or something like that. That was a really good watch. I recommend if you want some like more commentated game, go look that up on YouTube. I was not on commentary, but I was like on the couch crew for that, and that was like one of the most entertaining runs of that event for me.
Yeah, for sure. As one of the people who was doing commentary for it, we had Cards and FFR who are here now. We had 2 other well-respected runners of Darkwing Duck and Edo Bean, and everyone's time was so close, and there were a bunch of lead changes back and forth, and it was a really good showing from everybody. So yeah, that was SGDQ 2016, and we've, in terms of like puzzle league games that have been showcased throughout, the past 4 SGDQs all have had a game showcased, including a Pokemon Puzzle Challenge race that was 2014, and then we've also had just Pokemon Puzzle League 2015 and 2017. Which done by Cards and FFR as well. You'll hear those names a lot. Those guys are both pretty heavily invested into the community. As much as I love this series, though, I like to shout out some other games because we mentioned before, we're from an organization called Puzzle General, and we just like to showcase everything. And I do want to say, if you guys are entertained by GDQs and everything, AGDQ 2018 is going to be featuring Wario's Woods for the Super Nintendo, and that game this year has had its times fall pretty drastically, and we have one of our best runners, PD Boo, is going to be doing the versus Com hard mode, I believe it is, so you guys should check that out.
Wario's Woods is a really unique puzzle game because you control a physical character, not just a cursor or something. You control like a physical character that moves around the playing field and transports blocks and monsters in order to clear them. I'll be on commentary for that.
I personally find it one of the hardest games to do as well, so I always have mass props to anyone who can master that game. But all right, we got eyes on Yoshimitsu's screen right now. He can maybe get a quick kill on Raphael. Did he send enough of a follow-up garbage? Oh, but he finds the clear of the blues. He's necessarily not done yet. As long as he can get this kill follow-up right here, this should still be possible. Yeah, because he's going to finish at about 450 in, which I believe that is where Cards World Record run finished, but he had a really, really good end game. So maybe Yoshi can repeat that here, heading into the cave.
Right here. Hard to stream. Oh, what can you do?
Yeah, unfortunately, ISPs can ruin everything for you. But yeah, hopefully we have his back soon. He'll probably keep us updated the whole time on things happening. But we got Yoshimitsu. It's looking a little bit bleak for this run right now. He didn't get the greatest hook bill start here, and he's just finding chains. Like, one big difference I want to point out from this game to Pokemon Puzzle League is the AI is a lot smarter in the later games, to where they'll actually set up the chains to connect with the garbage blocks. But in this game, they might do that, but sometimes they just kind of switch around a couple blocks and just stay there. So it's just lucky to if they get a chain off of the garbage or if they don't, which if they don't, usually that can end up to a kill.
Up the end game in Cards' record run so much is because of getting all 4 stages to be really quick kills without a clear is like less than 0.01 or maybe less than 0.1%. By the way, I'm pulling that number totally out of my ass, but that's what it feels like to me.
It sounds about right. I can't confirm or deny it, though. Yeah. Looks like Yoshi's probably just going to play through the rest of this run now. He might do a reset as soon as I say that, because that likes to be a popular theme whenever a commentator points out something. He does get an 18, though, so a pretty nice stage, but as you can see, the world record's already passed. We got FFR with the start of something happening up there as well, as he gets that 19-second on Poochie. He's going to be heading out of the stage at about 145, which is pretty reasonable. Which, something I like to point out about FFR's play, we have mentioned he has really ridiculously fast cursor speed, and he does a really good job at sending garbage in terms of like mostly chains. He might not implement as many combos as you would like, but he does a pretty good job at topping off the opponent. I'd say he's one of the most consistent people, to where he might not get the fastest times, but he gets barely any stages that will troll him for that long. As you can see, he plays with a pretty high stack too, which could be a good or bad. Yoshi finishes his run at an 8:29, though. That might be your fastest run of the day so far. I'm not too sure. I know he had one run that got ruined by Bowser pretty severely earlier on.
I think that is the best finished run so far.
Which, despite it being a minute and a half behind world record, is a really, really solid time. It's hard to pull off sub-9s consistently, but these guys will typically do that pretty consistently.
By the way, I think I'm gonna head out here as I need to eat dinner. Fun, and enjoy commentating the rest of the Chase for the Record stint, you guys.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Cypher. It was really good to have your input on everything. So, yeah, take care, man.
Really enjoyed the Chase for the Record streams I've watched, so it was an honor to actually partake in one.
Alrighty, so we do have FFR still going on a run pretty long right now. A little bit behind pace. Can still make it up here. He's got a pretty nice stack here if Lunchfish can cooperate a little bit. I'll probably I'll call out Dark Aries. He'll probably be helping a lot with the co-commentary now as Cypher has to leave.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. I felt you two were doing a pretty good job, and every single time I want to say something, either one of you guys was just on the ball with it, so I'm not gonna mess with perfection while it's happening.
Well, I appreciate that. I do want to mention you on a question because we've talked about this a little bit. These are the 4 fastest players on the leaderboard, and myself and Cypher were right behind at 5 and 6. And as a person who mostly just watches on the outside, I know you've done attempts too, and you have a... What is your PB in the game? Don't you have like a 11-minute or a 12-minute time or something? I don't know. I thought you got a PB recently.
I did, but it's not even close to that number. Hold on, let me pull up my splits.
Well, anyways, not even like worrying about the specific time, but as someone, you know, generally who watches more than plays, like, what do you notice from these top players? Like, what are specifically the things that they need to do consistently in order to get like these low 7-minute times?
Really, honestly, it just has to do with a lot of vision in the game, which is something I desperately lack, which is why my times are very slow. I mean, I'm special in the regard that I'm colorblind, so I don't get to see all these fancy combos and chains as well as everybody else does. But when I do actually get on track and I can kind of see what they're doing, a lot of it just has to do with the fact that, for example, more casual players or somebody even a bit more above average like myself, oftentimes you use garbage chaining as a crutch for not being able to do very well, because if the opponent is a lot better than you, this is more applicable in a game like Pokemon Puzzle League when you're on the harder difficulties, maybe less so in Tetris Attack, but you're going to continue using the garbage in order to make up for the fact that you aren't able to find and place chains as well as people of a higher skill set. While people at this range of gameplay, they don't need that crutch. They can actually see the stack and go, if I'm going to move this triangle over, that's going to cause my stars to fall down in a manner of which I can shift this star over and it will keep continuing my chain. So it's a lot more of the fact that you don't have to think from a going up to down perspective. It's more of you can look to the left and right as well to continue the chains going. And also just due to the fact that you have a very good peripheral vision and a look ahead as well. I think actually Cards, one of the things that people like to bring up is the fact that Cards kind of knows when his chains won't reach a certain size, and I think that's pretty accurate for basically everybody. People just like to throw out cards out there, but you'll know when you can't do a chain after a certain amount of size, because you just know you have very innate feeling with your stack, and you can tell that, okay, I've kind of screwed this up. I won't have any more blocks that are going to be able to continue what I'm doing right now. I think I've left him speechless.
Very well put there, and I like the way that you said, you know, some lower level people, they do rely on, you know, garbage clearing chains to survive, and that's one thing all of these runners do excel on, is that, you know, they can just do chains without the garbage, because the garbage gives you a lot of necessary time to do that stuff. But especially on very hard here, you have way less time to react to things, because on this game, you can see it specifically in like human to human versus modes, that you can adjust the level of the play, which will make the blocks clear faster and just raise the stacks a little bit higher as well. That's a little bit less important. But as the blocks clear faster, you have so much less time to work with, and you can, you know, bust like 15 chains out pretty easily on level 1. But some people, when they transition to level 10, they have a hard time just finding like 3 chains. And I'm not sure exactly what very hard translates to in level. If I were to guess, probably around the 7 or 8 range, which is pretty fast.
I would say that's fairly accurate.
And levels range from 1 to 10, just in case you didn't know. But while I've been talking, we got Yoshimitsu on a really good run right now. 330 at Lunchfish here. Let's see how he handles this. He had a pretty decent chain. Lungefish has not too many blocks, though, so he might have to send a little bit more here. He's got a pretty favorable pattern, though. If he gets topped off, he might get the kill, which he does. 24 seconds is definitely something you can still work with. That's why you want to aim for those really, really low times at the beginning of the run. So if he can get a pretty good Raphael here, he's looking at exiting around the 4:30 mark, which is prime positioning to go for the world record.
Actually, another thing that kind of came to mind, thinking more what differentiates kind of like the skill levels in the genre of games, it also has to do a lot with knowing when to cut your chain. Because really, if we look at how people improve in the game, they kind of go from not knowing how to chain to knowing how to chain, and then they kind of want to keep growing their chain so they're very large. But it's actually really detrimental to just do we'll call it a mystery chain, because that's what it is, where you reach a certain amount and it just turns into a question mark. I believe it's 12 or 13 once you get past that point and starts doing that. If you were to continue doing that in a speedrun of this game, or even in a versus mode, it oftentimes actually ends up harming you, because there's so much time that you're actually giving your opponent to continue poking at you with smaller chains and garbage. So one of those things that people of a higher skill set have is that ability to know when to actually cut off a chain and send the right amount of garbage. They'll pay attention to their opponent's stack, and they'll see, oh, they're pretty high up. If I cut this, it's going to drop when they raise it one or two more, and that's going to really hurt them, because they're all of a sudden going to be overstacked right now.
So if we go back and look at Yoshi's screen right now, unfortunately, I believe he had a chance to kill whoever stage 9 is. I forget the characters all the time in this game, and I've played it so much, I don't know why. But he could have got a little bit of a quicker kill, but he settled for a 23, I believe. So this is still possible, though that clear on Piranha is not going to help at all. He'll probably get the follow-up kill right here, since there's no chain dropping. Yeah, immediate kill. Which, I don't think we've actually described stop time all too much. And
No.
Since this pace is, I think, dead at this point, it might have the smallest chance at world recording. We'll see as Kamek comes, but stop time is the mechanic that makes you die in this game. When your screen gets all the way filled, you won't die immediately because you have what's called stop time. And depending on your level or how far you are into the match will determine how long that stop time lasts for. And it can be extended by doing a certain chain number or a certain combo. So if you have like an opponent clearing the garbage, and they just barely did it and had like barely any stop time, if they don't have a chain follow up immediately, you'll just see them die very quick. Kind of like how Kamek did there.
Yeah, stop time is one of those mechanics that just kind of really pushes how well you can do in the game. More so in a versus perspective, or at least in Pokemon Puzzle League, where you can get hit a lot harder. But it really goes to show how well you can do things. With players with really fast cursor speed like FFR, you'll really get to see them stretch how quickly they can move panels around to get those clears in the short amount of time span they still have when they are just encumbered with garbage.
Well, we have Yoshimitsu maybe on the pace to try to get the first sub 8 for the day, though, which is definitely a great milestone. Like I mentioned earlier, only these 4 players have a sub 8 time. And there it is, actually. 7:52, so pretty respectable time from Yoshi. He's going to have the best time of the day. And I believe I should bring up the exact times. That might beat one of the players' times here. Oh no, it ties FFR's. FFR has a 7:52 as a PB as well, so. Yoshi playing pretty good for the most part, and that's what we expect. He's definitely someone who can find the clears the fastest out of all 4 of them, I want to say.
Yeah, especially since he's really relatively new to speedrunning. It's probably been mentioned earlier, but Yoshi's probably the newest speedrunner. to this game, really. He plays often. I believe he's from Brazil. He plays the person versus person PvP very often. But he really didn't get too much of a challenge until he found the Tetris Attack Online Discord, where they do just versus online, either with a clone called Panel Attack or with emulators. And then because the communities are pretty intertwined, it got him into speedrunning the game itself, at which point he kind of just took the record with nobody really expecting it unless they were following him, so...
Yeah, shout-outs to the people at the Tetris Attack Online community. They've revived this game that, you know, we've been speedrunning it for a little while, but I know a lot of people are asking about Versus, and this clone that they made, Panel Attack, it has some work to be done, but it is, like, has very low latency, and a lot of people have been enjoying it. And we've had tournaments with 20-plus people, which is pretty cool to see from a game that was released over 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because a lot of people like and get into the game because of the versus aspect. But then when you try to go online, a lot of us devolved into speedrunning it because there really wasn't a consistent way to actually do versus matches beyond going to an event such as PAX or GDQ or anything like that. And now we've finally reached a point where we can reliably have versus matches. So they're kind of becoming more of a norm at this point here. So it's kind of just a revolving circle of what's being popular.
Which I will say, if you do like that versus aspect, I'm sure people watching can link this if someone wants it, but check out that community because online versus matches happen every single day. It's a pretty popular Discord right now. And we've been reaching out to more in-person events. We usually always have a Puzzle League versus tournament at the GDQs. If you're going to ask why not Tetris Attack, this game is so laggy on versus. We've had matches on level 10, which is the hardest, go for longer than the max out timer, which is 9:59, and probably 5 minutes past that. We've had one best of 3 game go for about 30 minutes because both of the players were just so skilled at it. But we have things like GDQs, PAXs always have them. And then we've been reaching out to more things, like just, I don't know, generally even some like Smash tournaments. We went to a event called Super Famicom and had a bunch of puzzle tournaments, including Puzzle League, Tetris, Puyo Puyo, things like that. Hopefully we can see these get bigger and bigger down the road, but the speedrunning scenes have been pretty popular, I'd say, over the past year. Specifically, Tetris Attack and Puzzle League have about the same amount of representation. And in terms of like games in the puzzle genre, I believe both are in the top 5 as far as like runs done over time. Like trailing behind Portal and I forget what else is up there.
I mean, even then, it's still... you'll oftentimes see Pokemon Puzzle League break into the top 10 games on SRL, and I believe on even speedrun.com, it is pretty high up there with regards to like activity with its leaderboards there. So it's definitely one of the most popular puzzle, or action puzzle games, I would say.
I always like to point this out. Like, I'd say speedrunning in general had a huge peak in 2013. Speedruns Live was one of the premier sites then, and there were so many people who were picking up the actual races because before SRL, I don't think races were ever even done. You know, it was just offline attempts, some streaming here and there, but SRL kind of made that big. And then with channels like SpeedGaming here, we combine that with the tournament aspects, which there's so many events going on this channel. You guys should follow it if you haven't yet. But this game, or Puzzle League in specific, there was a group of people in 2013 that used to race this game every single day, which helped add to the popularity a little bit. Shout outs to the crew back in 2013.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the history of kind of this, at least it's more relatable to Pokemon Puzzle League, but since there's so much overlap with the players itself, it started off as just those daily races that were happening and people would kind of join in. And then we kind of made a little community in a Skype group, and it's continued to evolve with more and more people. And then it got so big that you couldn't even start a Skype call at all because there was too many people in the actual channel itself. And then when Discord came out, me and Forky decided to kind of shift the community over there. And then we decided to branch out to make it more than just Pokemon Puzzle League, since everybody who plays Pokemon Puzzle League loves puzzle games in general. And now it's grown into Puzzle General itself, which I believe has over 400 active members in the Discord right now. So it's just from like maybe a handful to a dozen people just doing daily races of Pokemon Puzzle League into what it is right now. And now the fact that we have races on outlets such as SpeedGaming is just really impressive in just the span of a couple of years.
Yeah, it's been explained in chat a little bit, but yeah, Cards is just having a little bit of issues on his end due to like storm and whatnot. So he's gonna keep us updated because I'm sure he's still doing attempts on his end. But we'll let you guys know if, or he will, because we've seen him talking in chat. He'll keep us updated if he gets something good. But yeah, I just want to say, you know, big thanks to anyone supporting speedrunning and whole or puzzle games. It's great to see all these games just being played to this day. And you see that a lot with speedrunning. It just revives all these games that we thought people never played anymore. And you got like hundreds of people enjoying them to this day. It's a great age that we live in right now with gaming. I see Card's stream pop up every once in a while. So his connection's fighting.
Yeah.
It'll win the battle eventually.
I think he mentioned that even because he's also trying to just use his cell data to tether, because that's done well as a backup in the past. But even that is not being all that well because of the storms that are happening in his area. So it's just pretty unfortunate timing.
Well, he is back for the time being, and he's going to get that 11-second stage, so it's good to see him back.
Yeah, that's the Rng Manipulation at work, for those of you who just joined or maybe have very short memory like I do. Cards does an Rng Manipulation where he looks at the blinking of Yoshi's eyes in order to start off with the exact same seed, and he gets to clear it in 11 seconds. If that doesn't happen, he just resets.
Which I believe he is the only person to implement that strat right now, because it is very, very young and it only works for a handful of stages. He has it for only 2 different stages on Tetris Attack, but I know he's routed it up to something like, I want to say 5 stages on Panel to Pawn, but it's so hard to keep it consistent throughout the entire run. So he does it for the first couple on Panel to Pawn and then just plays normally like you would for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and it's fairly interesting because I don't believe that anybody in the Japanese speedrunning community even does the Rng Manipulation that Cards found out, so...
Which is a shame. I don't know how active the Japanese community is for this game. They definitely have some pretty good times, especially since they have the record for Panel to Pawn, and I think some other categories and other games. But I'm not the person who's kept up well enough with that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I do know that FFR managed to bop a Japanese player for easy mode in the GameCube Panel to Pawn, I believe it is. But any records they do have are generally pretty long-standing. They've also kind of been there for a couple of years, so...
It's a tricky game. Sometimes the records last for quite a while, and then sometimes they get beat within the next day even. Like, we've had Pokemon Puzzle League Very Hard, the second hardest difficulty. Myself, I set the record one time, and Cards was like, oh, that's nothing. Goes and beats it the next day. And it was like the record before that stood for, you know, over a year, so it wasn't like it was a bad time or anything. It's just, you know, sometimes you just get lucky enough or you're playing hot. That's just how it works.
Yep. Actually, if I remember correctly, there was a little bit of I guess you could call it an esports scene for this game in Japan, but it kind of never really took off.
Really? That's interesting. How long ago was that?
Oh, it was fairly. I remember reading it on like one of those StarCraft websites, maybe Team Liquid or something. It's a fairly old and long-standing website, but they had an article about Panel de Pon and how it did have a little bit of a versus scene in Japan, but it didn't go very large, mainly due to the fact that most of their players were very level in skill set, and the games would just keep lasting on too long. So I don't think they really did anything like level 10 versus mode or anything like that.
Wait, they played on lower level?
Yeah, I believe they played on lower levels. Because I can't believe that if they were playing on level 10 that their matches would last like 10 minutes. Or the article was just embellishing things to embellish things.
This is an interesting game, because to give you a little bit of like a puzzle background or something, this game, I'd say as a whole, compared to any other competitive puzzle games, is probably one of the least regarded ones. For the fact that there are huge time variances on the match. And, you know, you can play at low level and have the two best players in the world literally never die. But you bump it up to level 10, and then you have matches that can end at 10 seconds or 3 minutes. Kind of like the speedrun, believe it or not.
Yep. Yeah, it's very different in comparison to a game like Puyo, where a skill has everything to do with the versus match.
Mm-hmm. Puyo has much more consistent times, but it's cool because you have such skilled players who do versus on this game as well, and it takes a lot to play. It's funny, you talk about APM for some games, and Puzzle League is right up there with some of the fastest, because the cursor movement for some of the players can get really, really insane. I don't know specific numbers, but I wouldn't say StarCraft numbers. I don't think anything compares to StarCraft. But if you take the game, let's say like Melee, I'm pretty sure some of the top players in Puzzle League have faster APM than the fastest in Melee.
Yeah, I believe that. If you think about it, there's just so much actions that you have to do in a very quick motion. If you were to take one panel from one edge to the other edge, there's actually in Pokemon Puzzle League, there is a custom kind of test that people make where they try to airwalk panel to create a clear that is otherwise impossible, and you have to be fast enough to move the panel without it dropping to the bottom. And if you can do that, that's you are up there in terms of cursor speed and skill level.
Alright, so I guess back on the action right now, we have a lot of people kind of involved in a run right now. FFR and Monty both on stage 6, both at very similar paces, I want to say. Monty's getting a little bit trolled right now. Let's see what happens on FFR's side, but they're both on, you know, some pretty good paces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, as with because this game is so RNG heavy, it's very often for good pace to go, which is why whenever there is always a speedrun race of this game, it's never over up until the very last boss is defeated. Because we have seen it where it will, the person in the back will all of a sudden beat them because of the fact that they got unlucky at the final boss.
Ooh, Monty almost got a really quick fight on Lunchfish there. Unfortunately, he found the stack lower at just the right time. If he can get this kill right now, he still might have a chance to get something going, which he is going to finish it off. It's funny because in terms of speedruns for this series, this one is definitely the more consistent one to get kills. But I still think it has like a bigger variance in terms of how the AI uh, like makes its moves. Like Puzzle League, for the most part, we believe there's like an AI spike in the middle of the game, but the AI typically does the same thing as every single stage, just gets a little bit faster. And in this one, that's kind of the same case, but for 1 through 8, I feel like towards the end of that, there are huge jumps to how fast Raphael gets, and then you have a whole different way they're programmed for the last 4 stages. And even then, from stage 9 to stage 12, there's like a huge variance because Bowser is just the biggest troll ever.
Yeah, instead of having one or... I guess in Pokemon Puzzle League, you can really just consider 2 spikes in skill. There's that spike at around Tracy, and then there's that spike for just Mewtwo itself at the very end. In this game, there's a lot more. It's kind of uneven in a sense.
Yeah, we got both FFR and Monty on Hookbill right now. But it looks like both of them kind of got trolled a little bit. Monty's going to finish at 21, which is pretty good. But they're both about to be eclipsing the 6-minute mark, which Monty already did. And it's looking pretty slim because there's 3 stages left for each person. So they could compete for the best time, though FFR just takes a reset there.
Yoshi with the crazy combo clears right there.
Alright, we got Yoshimitsu on a pretty good run right now, it's looking like, too. It's always, you know, the really, really early game, it's hard to tell, but you never know if he keeps rolling with that. You gotta play good every single stage, though. You can't let up at all. Yeah, Monty's gonna finish out this run. It'll probably give him some more confidence if he can finish Kamek and Bowser in some reasonably good times. But yeah, here's Yoshimitsu getting that 14-second on Flying Wiggler, and he's on some pretty good pace right now.
Yeah, he's pretty much on a roll right now. And Monty's done with Kamek there, so on to the final boss, Bowser.
He should, if Bowser ends up being good here, probably have the 2nd fastest time for the day. I can't speak much for Cards since his stream's kind of been on and off. It looks like it's been pretty consistent. Let's not jinx it right now, though. Hopefully the storms will go away.
Wow, Monty with some really nice 5 combos right there. And an 8.
Oh, he might get this kill on Bowser here. Oh, he's going to find the reds. That was unfortunate. It's like, Bowser's cursor speed's so fast, you can just get super unlucky. And he's going to have those purples drop into place there, so it just gives Bowser even more time to react. He should probably die here, though. 3rd tier, dude!
Wow.
What is this guy? Unbelievable.
It's crazy. Bowser gets the 3rd tier, but Monty also got a 9 combo. It's insane. You don't really see that one often. 48 seconds, that is a fairly decent time.
So yeah, he'll finish up with the sub 9 here. And we can turn our focus back over to Yoshimitsu right now, he's got a pretty solid run going into this too. At about 3:45 heading into Lunchfish here. Right around the beginning of the world record pace, I want to say. It's hard to compare it to the current world record because, like we've mentioned before, the end game is just so ridiculous on it.
$15 seconds, still doing fairly good here.
That's the perfect time you want to shoot for right now. Those 15-second fights are really amazing in the late game. I just love looking how each one of these players find their stuff. Yoshi relies a lot more on just doing clears really quickly and getting like lag chains and multiple combos. You look at someone like Cards, he doesn't really do too many lag chains, but he finds 5 combos so consistently back to back, which 5 combos you can argue are pretty optimal because a 4 combo is 3 blocks wide, so they won't stack up on top of each other. But when you do a 5 combo, it's 4 blocks wide, and they can't fit side by side. They're gonna stack on top. So 5 combos are pretty good. You can throw in 1-4 combo just for fun. Yoshi going for a pretty big chain here. Might pay off. He's got Hook Bill at a pretty high stack. There's going to be some stack shaking, though.
Dang.
And that's going to
Gets the 4.
lead to that clear.
It's always fun when the game tries to catch up and it just starts popping all the garbage one after another. Just like rapid fire. But 30 seconds, slower pace, but it's still really good. Relatively speaking, anyways. I'm not too certain if on world record pace, but
He's going to need God stage after God stage, though it might be impossible at this point. Those 30-second stages really, really do kill. Like, in general, you take those if it's like a race format. But man, grinding world record, it can just be really tough. And you really do want those sub-20s whenever you can get them. But yeah, just a little bit short on garbage again this stage, and Piranha finding some chains, so that's gonna knock this out of contention already.
yeah.
So we might see him reset. He might just finish it again. I wish I had more of the knowledge of how much time it took RTA in between stages, which I guess we could just time that on our own right now. But it varies from stage to stage because you have character select screens for every stage, and then you have little cutscenes you gotta skip for the later stages too. And this fade out, I believe, is a little bit longer than standard. I could be wrong on everything though. Who knows?
Just roll with it. We're supposed to look like we know what we're talking about.
I've played Pokemon Puzzle League too long and probably get influenced a little bit by that because there's some different things that happen on that game where you're getting like badges, and then you got random sequences like fighting Mewtwo at the end. That's actually like the quickest transition, I want to say.
Yep. It's pretty funny. A lot of people play Pokemon Puzzle League because I think it's because of the fact that it's so inconsistent. You're just trying to make the best of it. But this game really is a lot more consistent in trying to do something. It also helps that it's like much, much shorter.
And there we go. We got Yume with the information in chat there. 10 seconds for the first 8 stages and a little below 20 for the last. So yeah, that's why you gotta have a good pace going into the end, because you don't want the time to deceive you a little bit. And wow, Bowser pulling off the 10 chain there. Pretty casual, no big deal.
Yeah, the difficulty spike on Bowser is just ridiculous. But he gets a 31-second clear. Completing 8 minutes and 44 seconds. Is that now the best time? I forget now.
No, we've had a sub 8. We had a 7:52.
Gotcha.
Which Yoshimitsu definitely has finished the most runs from what I can recall, and has the fastest one. He's looking like the most consistent runner for the time being, and I just don't think Monty FFR have had that great beginning game to look forward to. We haven't seen a lot of end games for them, so you can't really judge from them how that would go yet. They finished some runs, and unfortunately for Cards, we'll see some attempts, or we'll see an offline world record probably.
Yeah, I'm seeing in chat, wondering how a time of 7:01 was achieved. It really just has to do a lot with the right amount of luck, because you don't end up with the same stack every single time you play. So a lot of it is on yourself to try to make the best of the situation. So it comes down to knowing as when to cut off your chains, when to do them first off, when to do combos, hoping that the AI is in that one part of its programming that will not find the clear in time. There's a lot of factors that you yourself can influence, but there's a lot of factors that you can't influence. So it's really just trying to beat RNG at its own game.
Mm-hmm. And you do got to play a certain number of attempts, but you got to know the skills as well, which I will say definitely for Yoshi and Cards, who have had the world record as of recent, they are definitely the better players for this category as well. As you can see, both, I'd say probably manage combos a little bit better, not to take anything away from the other two.
Yeah, I mean, that just also happens to go in playstyles as well, because I mean, if this was stage clear, for example, we would be talking completely opposite. FFR would be dominating this whole category, more than likely. Although we haven't really seen Yoshi do stage clear, but if it was on the knowledge that we have right now, FFR is just pretty much godly at the stage clear mode of the game. So it's just the way his playstyle is. It works a lot better in a stage clear environment than it does in the versus computer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and we're getting around to that time again. We know we have a lot of newer viewers in chat who haven't either seen this game before, so I want to welcome you guys to Chase for the Record. We're taking 4 of the best runners for different games. This iteration happens to be Tetris Attack. This is a swap 3 game that you combine swapping multiple blocks in a row to get chains and combos. The category that they're doing is Versus Com Very Hard, which you have to beat 12 stages as fast as you can by sending garbage to your opponent and topping off their screen. So we have the 4 best runners duking it out right now. We haven't had too much luck to begin with so far, but we still got a whole nother hour to see if these guys can come up with something.
Yeah, and if you are new here as well, some quick terminology. A combo is when you match 4 or more at once. A chain is when you match 3 or more at once, but it's in quick succession. So whenever you see when their screens have that ×2 or ×3 or anything like that, that's considered a chain. The stack is just their literal game field filled with the panels. The garbage are those blocks with the faces that will drop on top of them. And that's your too long, didn't read terminology right there.
Well put, well put. So yeah, the gist of this basically, if you're gonna look at the in-game time for each stage, the world record averages about 16.5 seconds per stage. And they're gonna be looking to probably get around, 11 to 12 second ones early on. Or if they don't manage to get around that average, you can try to do it later on. It's just a lot more luck dependent, even though later opponents do play more aggressive. So in a sense, you're more likely to get crazy times, like even sub 10s, but you should never rely on it completely. You want to make sure your beginning game's pretty solid, and that's why we see a lot of stage 1 resets or stage 3 resets.
In particular, you're gonna be noticing Cards of the Heart resetting a lot on stage 1. He's the only runner that does an Rng Manipulation. What he does is he waits for the blinking of Yoshi's eyes to match up with a timing that he does out loud. I think it's just a couple seconds that he times out. And whenever he starts the first stage, it will have the exact same panels every single time, which means that he can get an 11-second clear. If he doesn't get those conditions, he's just going to keep resetting. That's a really good blarg right there. 12 seconds for Yoshimitsu. FFR also doing pretty good with a 17 seconds on, I forget that guy's name, but it's stage 4.
Oh, was it Flying Wiggler? I might have. Yeah, it was
Flying Wiggler. Flying Wiggler. That's his name.
It's so hard. I'll remember their names or forget them sometimes, or I'll just forget specifically what stage. I'll like call out to the future and be like, yeah, stage 9. I forget who that is, but... But yeah, both players on the right side of your screen here have some pretty good runs going. Yoshimitsu a little bit farther along. He's going to finish with the 22, which isn't too bad, and he's probably right around the world record pace right now. But here's where all the fun comes along, man. Raphael. I've seen him have quite a few stages against him, like over 20 seconds. Just because he likes to clear garbage blocks, nothing more than that.
Looks like Monty's doing pretty good as well. He had a 15-second stage 1, and now he has a 20-second stage 2, so there's some really strong early game happening from these runners.
Yeah, Raphael playing with the high stack. That is going to be it for him. So we have Yoshimitsu right under 5 minutes right now. So this is not impossible, but he's going to probably need sub 15 or even lower for every single one of these stages. So time to pray to the RNG gods. Which the opponents do play with higher stacks, so they're going to be cutting off their chains a little bit more. And this looks kind of good. He's going to have to lower the right side of his screen. Oh, he's found the blues there.
But it's 22-second clear. I mean, it's not that great for trying to beat that 7-minute and 1 second time, but it's still overall really good.
Yeah, I think it might be impossible at this point. It's hard to judge. I think you want to at least be at like 540 here. I don't run at the caliber of these runners though, so my judgment can be pretty off at most points. Let's see, he might be able to get this kill pretty soon. And that's the good thing Yoshimitsu has on his side. Since he does spam combos pretty quick, the less screen shake that happens when the opponents drop their block, they're going to typically die quicker. So good stuff to him. Still at about 6.5 minutes. I will definitely say this is dead now, but he might be able to get the fastest time on stream so far.
Yeah, I mean, one of the nice things about this game, at least from a newcomer perspective, is that you don't have to necessarily be very good at large chains. It's okay if you do combos to kind of crutch for that as well. You're obviously not going to be clearing the game at this speed and caliber, but you're still going to be able to get wins off, so... This game is a lot more forgiving than any other game in the series, so...
Way less forgiving, but probably one of the harder world records, especially with... Cards just got the 701 last week, which is really funny. Warming up for this, so... Might have wasted all the good luck here, but we'll see. We still got plenty of time to see one of these runners break out and get something good. Kamek's ruining all the potential of setting a new stream best here, though, with that 57 second. That 7:52 is going to remain the best time right now, but he's probably going to still finish out the run. There's just something satisfying about this game. If you had a good run leading up to the last, 2 to 3 stages, you most likely always finish it, unless you end up dying or just something severely unlucky happens.
Yeah, it's just the way that RNG can decide what to do. And Bowser's pretty encumbered there, but he does get the stars to start clearing off that garbage there. 30-second clear. That's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty solid. Like, Bowser is definitely the person who's gonna have the highest average of a time compared to everyone else. That's why you want as much leeway as possible heading to the end. But yeah, Yoshimitsu cranking out these runs. He's getting enough practice. I think this is good for him because he's getting a lot of feels for this end game. Like, his beginning game is shown to be pretty consistent to where he can maintain world record pace. Then it just all comes down to that end game. And the more practice he's getting with it tonight, maybe he'll get that luck eventually. And I don't know. I really want to see a sub 7 in this game. Like, I remember a couple of years ago, we thought sub 8 was almost impossible when Cypher still had the world record. And then Cards put in some work, got a 748, I want to say, or something along that area. Brought it down even more, and now we're 1 second away.
Yeah, and I believe actually that run of Cards is on SDA right now as the current video for Tetris Attack.
You might be correct. Either that or a 720 run, one of those two. So now we get to see all the beginning game trolls right now. Everyone basically at stage 1 and 2. FFR on stage 3 though, so he's a little bit out in front right now. Let's see if Blame Poochie will strike again. Though he didn't have the greatest start there. He finds an 8 to make up for it though. So that was a pretty decent follow-up. He's going to lose some time for just getting that chain off a little bit slow. But dude, Poochie had those hearts lined up and just kind of like went away from him. Like, I don't want to do this clear right now. I'll go back down.
I see my commentaries rubbing off on you if you're starting to refer them by shapes.
I figure I'd be a little bit nice to you because I noticed that a little bit. I'm like, well, you know, let's do some shapes for our colorblind friends.
Yeah, if anybody in chat's wondering, I'd like to refer the panels as shapes because that's as I see them. I don't really see them as the color that they are. I mean, I guess the circle's green and the heart's red, obviously, but like that triangle is really just gray to me, although I would assume it's like a teal.
That's something else I need to do too, is start calling them panels. I don't think I've ever described them once as panels. And I can blame Pokemon Puzzle League for that.
Yeah, they kind of ruined the naming convention there by calling them blocks.
Which they're square. I mean, you like tell your brain that they are blocks, but then they're not blocks at all.
I think it's more because of the fact that they were kind of more probably pushing on the 3D mode, at which case they are actual blocks because they're cubes in the game itself. Or at least some sort of 3D shape right there. So it's probably more accurate to call them blocks because they're not really panels per se.
Oh, Lakitu. This guy, I feel like, is the biggest troll in the run. It's just... He plays with a very low stack most of the time, so you gotta bust out a big chain and combo. And then he just likes to make clears, kind of like on Monty's screen at the bottom left there. You know, Monty sent a very decisive chain and some combos to top him off, but he's just like, nah, I'll play with a low stack.
Also, I'm seeing in chat that calling them as panels is because the game was paneled upon. I wouldn't necessarily say that's a good reason for it, because the Japanese language is pretty finicky. As I've recently learned, they like to use an English-sounding word for something, but the definition does not actually match up to the English word itself. There's actually a Wikipedia article on it. I can't remember what it's specifically called, but they really like doing that, where they'll use an English word to describe something, but that English word doesn't actually mean what they have it mean in the Japanese language. So just because it says paneled upon doesn't necessarily mean that they had the word panel, as in the English definition of it, in mind. Yeah, I would consider it maybe a false friend of sort. I can't remember what it's called right now, but I know the example of it since I was actually talking about it with somebody. If anybody watches Food Wars, there is a term called perfect trace. And the word trace in that meaning doesn't necessarily mean what they want it to mean in English. That's what it is. Wase ego. Thank you, Toretta, in chat for knowing what I was talking about.
All right. I guess it's time to pay attention to Yoshimitsu again, rolling through that beginning game. Kind of been the theme for him. And he's got a pretty decent start again so far. Midway through Blarg at 3 minutes in is pretty good. He can close out this match pretty soon here if he sent the appropriate follow-up. He's a couple lines short, though. Which Blarg does not have any blocks, but he's going to do...
No. Oh, almost did it with the hearts right there.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's like something I see myself do. You just raise your stack too high, then you don't realize you're topped off and end up killing yourself. But yeah, a little bit of a long stage there. It's going to set him back a little bit, but he's still definitely on pace. And he gets a really nice 5 combo on the end of his chain there. Oh, yeah, Lunchfish was playing around with the different blocks there, and it's going to be a 12-second fight. That's much needed.
That catches him up a lot. It's also crazy to think about that a 20-second stage is slow in comparison, because overall it's not slow. It's really fast considering how a casual, for example, can clear the stage, or even if you get unlucky, how long it can take to clear a stage. So for 20 seconds, 26 seconds to be considered quote-unquote slow, but then for him to also get a 12 seconds right after is phenomenal.
Ooh, Raphael playing with the high stack. He's going to find the diamonds, though, and delay this a little bit more. I don't see any immediate chain follow-ups, though.
Nope.
Yeah, so 29 second there, not the best, but yeah, he's at that 4.5 minute range, so let's see how these end stages go for him.
I think this might be the best entrance that he's had so far, but I'm not sure. Because generally, when I'm at least noticing it, he's normally like 450 and above when he finishes the stage before Hookbill.
Oh, he's got a decent start here, though Hookbill's finding some chains now, unfortunately. Let's see if he's sent enough as Hookbill lowers his stacks. This might be enough if he doesn't find anything.
But he gets the hearts.
Commentator's curse.
But it doesn't look like he has anything right now.
Oh, second tier. Why, Hookbill? Why are you doing this to us? He's doing some more chains. Unfortunately, this is going to all kill the run right now. As an 8 chain, a 9 chain, is he going to go for 10? He does!
Crazy.
God, I'm used to Bowser getting 10 chains, but Hookbill, please! In the meantime, though, Cards is actually on Hookbill as well right now. Kind of like a similar pace that Yoshi had, but so Cards is going to need to pull out some super quick times in order to get this quick kill here. But yeah, Hookbill clearing his garbage as well.
Just gonna answer some quick questions in chat. The reason you might see Yoshi or anybody else wait to activate their chains is because they're looking at the opponent, trying to see if there's a point to continue with their garbage or not, because you don't want to actually do overkill since it does waste time. And the exclamation mark or shock blocks, they will create garbage that whenever you clear regular garbage, like for example on Monty's screen right now, you'll see that it goes and clears all of the garbage at once. What a shock block garbage does is actually just puts a line through it. So the garbage clear will reach that shock block and it will not go through it. So any other garbage on top of it will not get cleared. And it really hurts in the later stages, especially in versus with a human or a friend or anything like that, because you severely limit what you can actually do in that situation there.
Mm-hmm. And on the top of all of that, TA or Tetris Attack rather has a little bit of a weird mechanic when you're sending garbage that when you get your chain done, you gotta wait at least like a second or longer to send your next one, or else it'll delay it a little bit. If you start a chain or a combo a little bit beforehand, then your opponent's not going to receive your initial garbage that you sent, and maybe they'll end up raising their stack and having more blocks to work with, or just numerous different options. So typically, when they send that first string of garbage, they're just going to wait just a little bit longer, and then maybe do some quick follow ups with like some 5 or 4 combos afterward.
And it looks like Cards is doing pretty good, beyond the stream kind of being a bit stuttering, which it's out of our control. His internet is just having some issues due to some weather-related things. Apparently pretty big storms, but he could get really lucky on Bowser here and end up with a fairly good time. I don't think sub 8 probably possible at this point, but still overall pretty good time can be had.
Yeah, to answer a question by Wervern in chat, yes, people do use emulator for the runs. Specifically, I'm pretty sure Yoshimitsu is doing emulator right now. Most of the SNES emulators work pretty fine for the most part. So, you know, we have a good amount of them. But I guess according to the leaderboard, he is the only person in the top 12 runners that does emulator runs for it. Which I'm pretty sure, personally talking to him, he prefers to do runs without emulator. I just don't think he has a current setup to do so.
Also, I'm not entirely sure, but I don't know if he's actually using a controller. I remember Blinzer mentioning in our panel attack tournament that we had with the Tetris Attack Online Discord that he actually plays with keyboard in panel attack itself, and that he's actually a lot faster with a controller. So I'm not sure if that's the case with him playing right now, but if this is only just on keyboard, which he's relatively new-ish too, these are still really impressive times in gameplay.
Which is crazy because, yeah, he has mentioned he's better on controller, and I'm like, man, you're already good enough on keyboard. I don't want to see what this guy looks like on controller. Alright, oh, with the 9 combo there, and Yoshi's at the end, though.
Very nice.
But Lakitu is going to get that immediate clear, and Yoshi's going to reset. I knew he was going to. It's like, it's the first stage. If the opponent makes it clear, like 9 out of 10 times, you're going to reset. Sometimes you won't.
It just makes no sense not to, since it's literally the very first stage.
Oh yeah, I should mention, as you may said in chat, he did get a PB today, so make that another emulator time that's in the top 10.
But yeah, any emulator that's considered good enough for SRL, I'm pretty sure the community considers it good enough as well, so I think basically you use like SNES 9X or SNES or BSNES or BizHawk, whatever the front end for that one is called right now. Just nothing like ZSNES, which is really old and not accurate in the slightest.
Yeah, I'd say SNES 9X is probably one of the go-tos. Just overall, pretty good emulator. But yeah, a lot of the appeal with speedrunning, though, is people have stuck around with these old games. So a lot of people have either kept the consoles that they had when they were younger, or they just, you know, they play on emulator first and they're like, you know what, I'm sick of dealing with this because, you know, there might be a little bit of input lag or other issues, graphical issues, sound issues, and then go out and buy a console and play on that. Which I'd recommend it for this game. I think some emulators have a little bit of trouble on Tetris attack. I know some people have had some sound issues, I think is the big thing I've heard.
Yeah, overall, a lot of people, they have a SNES, and they just... capturing is not all that expensive as it used to be a couple years ago, and there's a lot more good resources on it. So a lot of people just kind of go into that. I mean, if we think about it, FFR was getting really good times in Pokemon Puzzle League, and all of his runs were just an iPad, just held up to his TV and or on a table or somewhere, and they were being recorded like that. So,
oh, those are the classic ones.
We finally got him a capture card, so now he has a pretty respectable stream, as we see here. I mean, he lives in the part of Canada where internet is not that great, but in such a size, it really doesn't matter. If we think about it, the original game was only 240p, so...
But we got some decent runs from him as well as Monty right now, both of them a stage apart. FFR getting a little bit hung up on Froggy here. Hopefully he's going to be able to clean this up, which he does at 27 seconds. But yeah, Monty, really good start here on Blarg. He hasn't cleared a lot of his blocks, but he does find the yellows immediately, unfortunately. I think he can still get a follow-up here, probably. Let's see. Nice, 21 seconds. Well, this mid-game, I feel like, has just been pretty trolly for most of them for the entirety of this event so far. Blarg and Raphael and Lunchfish in specific, the 6 through 8 stages. We've seen definitely some stages go to 25 to 30 seconds. As we've seen for both FFR and Monty right now, Monty's getting trolled on Lunchfish, and hopefully FFR is going to be able to get over this obstacle.
I'm just going to point out, because I see the discussion in chat right now, the reason Zed SNES is not considered accurate is because of the fact that it ran games so well that many years ago. It has a lot of design decisions that go for playability compared to actual emulation of the system itself. A lot of the design decisions were this, and doing it like the SNES does is too much, and it'll cause the game to be slow. Therefore, I'm going to do it in this way because it's faster. And that's really why it's, even if it runs games fine and it looks fine, it's just not running accurate, and therefore it's not you can't trust the run to be duplicated on anything else.
Alright, so we got Monty going in the cave a little bit over 5 minutes right now. He's gonna basically need the God run at this point in time. He almost got a pretty good startup though. Unfortunately, drops his chain a little bit too quick. And Hookbill's chaining away. This might not be the best start for Monty. Yeah, I think he still needs a lot more garbage to top off Hookbill here, and he's doing chains and clearing garbage. Yeah, I think that's going to pretty much kill the run for him right now. But yeah, if you guys are enjoying watching this broadcast right now, just speedrunning in general, make sure to follow this channel and any of the other speed gaming channels. There's lots of content that's going on, speedrun tournaments, marathons. Specifically, one that I want to point out next month, or not next month, at the end of this month that's happening, is the RTA in Japan marathon. It's like Japan's premier speedrunning marathon. You guys should check that out. They're going to have a English restream, I'm pretty sure, going on this channel or some other channel. Could be wrong.
Yeah, and the event is actually really crazy when you think about it, because it's just purely for the Japanese community. They come together and they just speedrun games. And considering outlets like Twitch are basically dominated by people in North America and Europe, it's really nice to see what the Japanese community has to show, because oftentimes they were or are the best in some games, so being able to see that is just really an awesome treat.
Alright, and now we got Yoshimitsu going into a little bit of a run. This is a little bit slower than his previous paces, though, but definitely not impossible. Maybe you can get that 11-second Raphael. I feel like out of all the stages in the game, you have potential to get those, 11, 10-second stages. Raphael has, like, the least variance in that. Watch him prove me wrong, though. I don't remember any times where I get, like, sub 15 for Raphael.
Like, I mean, if you look in that situation right there, he timed the garbage perfectly. It's just the fact that the AI still managed to see a clear, which generated stop time, which allowed for them to stay alive a little bit longer.
Well, he's going to give it his best effort right now heading into the cave here. Let's see what Hook Bill does. He's going to do a nice short, quick chain with some combos here. This is possible. Hook Bill doesn't have anything immediately. And he's going to get that 13-second time.
13 seconds. This is really good.
Oh, it's looking ever so impossible right now, though, just based on his timer. He's going to need the god times on every single stage here. Let's see what Piranha does now. He's got 2-6 combo starts at the beginning. Does a 3-chain with a 4 combo. That could be enough if Piranha doesn't do anything. But Piranha's playing with a pretty low stack, and that might just seal this run right now. Might lab Monty at this point, though. Monty's been having some pretty bad luck so far in the cave, as his time's already above 9 minutes so far. Oh, for in the chat for Soundhound, Cypher did commentary for the beginning half of this. Unfortunately, he did have to leave about an hour ago, so now it's just myself, who is BB4Key, joined with Dark Aries. Cypher did show some great perspectives of the game as being a former world record holder himself. If you guys missed the beginning of this broadcast, I recommend checking it out, because he has some pretty cool opinions about the game in terms of like strategies and just how the game works.
And it looks like the run is dead for Yoshi right there. Can't get world record.
And it's possible he needs like a negative 30-second Bowser or so.
Yeah, just gotta pull one out of his pocket.
Yeah, Monty does clean up pretty well at the end of his run, though. 10 minutes time, that's still pretty respectable. Obviously, way far away from the world record. Very comparable to the first world record of this game, though. That was hovering around that 10-minute time. Which, it's been a while since we mentioned that, since the beginning of the broadcast. But this game has been very on and off in terms of world record history for it. It started about 10 years ago in 2007, where the world record was 6 minutes and 19 seconds by a man named Iron Knuckle. And that was in-game time, which will roughly translate to about 10 minutes in today's standards. But 2 years after that, Darkwing Duck beat that by a minute, and then a year after that, Cypher beat that by a minute too, to where the RTA was around 8:06. Cypher's run stood for around 5 years, a little under 5 years, until Cards ended up taking it the first time at a 7:44. He dropped that a couple of times until recently, about a month ago. Yoshimitsu, who is a long-time Tetris Attack player but fairly new to speedrunning, got a 7:07, which beat the old record by about 15 seconds, I want to say. And then, just a week ago, as Cards was practicing for this event, he pulled out a 7:01, which is the time that you see on the screen right now. So the potential is there. We've had the records drop twice in the past month. A nice Bowser fight by Yoshimitsu. 20 seconds is very, very good for Bowser. Unfortunately, just didn't have the cooperative stages earlier on in that run. But, you know, it makes you feel good when you can kill Bowser pretty quickly. Which I will say the 7:01 time card set it's going to be a hard time to beat. I think it's possible, but man, it is a great run. We thought the first time he got a sub 8 was a great run, but these guys just keep pushing it farther and farther. I think I'd have to look at Card's stream. I'm not going to bring that up specifically, but I'm pretty sure his sum of best is like a low 5-minute time. So the potential is there, but that's like assuming you get like 10 and 9-second fights every single stage. Which is very, very unreasonable. Which I'm not sure if anyone in chat can fill us in on this. I know there's been quite a few chase for the record segments so far, but has there ever been a world record set during one of the events? I wonder. I'm pretty sure most of the games that have been featured have very respectable times, so it's very unlikely, but I'd like to know that. Not even close. Well, maybe Tetris Attack will be the first one. We don't have too much time left, but
It's fairly close. I mean, what was the difference? 52 seconds or something on Yoshi's side?
Yeah, so Yoshimitsu had a 7:52 earlier, and that's our fastest time of the stream so far. And yeah, that's only 51 seconds off. It was possible. He played well for the most part. I see on Cards End his stream is frozen right now, but he's at 5:34 on Piranha, which is a pretty solid pace right now. I wonder how he's doing, and he's been having internet issues for anyone who's came in pretty recently, so maybe it'll load up like it did right there. And it looks like, yeah, 6-18 on Kamek now, so
the good part about it is that Cards always does local recordings of his runs, so if he does manage to get a world record, in his case a very slow upload to YouTube, and we'll be able to see it in full.
We are going to see this match right here, though. It looks like it might just be a little bit too much to get the world record, though, but still a very respectable pace.
Yeah, it looks like it's not going to happen. 6:51.
Yeah, and Kamek's still chaining and chaining. But eventually going to go down right there. A little under 7 minutes. So, well, maybe Cards can go for the best time on stream so far. He's got a little bit of time to do so.
Yep.
Alrighty, so we have Monty on a pretty good pace right now. Stage 6 at 3 minutes in. He's going to be the man to watch right now as Cards is finishing up his Bowser. It'll be nice to check him out and see if he can actually get the best time on stream so far. But Monty, he gets a very nice 13-second on Blarg. So, alright, he's going to be the next one stepping up to try to beat this time. And to help you guys visualize, I see that in chat. Yeah, it is around 4 minutes. If you want to look at it in-game time-wise, Cards has a 3:17 for his world record run. which comes out to an average of about 16 and a half seconds per stage. So you don't have too much time to work with. Like that quick kill Monty just had, if he did that 17-second throughout every stage, he wouldn't get world record, even though how quick it was. You got to have those 10 to 11-second finishes. All right, Monty, if he closes out Raphael pretty quick here, he's got the garbage to do so. All right, Monty on a really good pace right now heading into the cave. This is one of the best paces I've seen of the day, actually. I think only Yoshi had one maybe faster. All right, Hookbill, what are you going to do for us? Let's play nice. Very strong combo to start off with. Oh, he drops it pretty quick, though. Hookbill playing with kind of a high stack. Monty's going to have a pretty decent follow-up here, though. Is it going to be enough? A little short. The 4 combos aren't stacking. That might be enough.
Hookbill wasn't clearing from the top. There's no clear. There we go.
Okay, 24 seconds. That's not too bad. He's still in shape for this right now. He needs a little bit quicker times, though, if he wants to close out on this. If anything, Montucky's PB, or Monty, my bad. He went through a username switch recently. But Monty's PB is a 748, so if he cannot get the world record here, he's on very good pace for a PB as well, so best of luck to him. He's got a really good start here as well. Piranha's playing with a pretty high stack. This might be it, actually. 12 seconds!
We're getting there. We're getting there.
All right, let's go. The world record's still alive. Could Monty do this? I want to see this, Monty. Pull out some sick times for us, dude. Okay, he's going to have a pretty good follow-up here with the 6. And a nice 6 to follow up, too. He might end it after that. Kamek is playing with a super high stack. If there's no chain follow-up, this could be a death. 13 seconds!
My God.
Whoa!
This is happening.
Sorry for the loudness. This could be possible. Let's go, Monty. Oh, man. This is super possible for world record. Bowser, let's play nice. Let's see this. First time. Oh, man. I'm excited.
So tense right now.
He needs like a 10-second fight here. A little over 10 seconds. He's got some room. All right. A little bit of nerves setting in for the beginning chain here. Oh, Bowser playing with a high left stack.
And he's not going for the top.
Oh, world record just passed, unfortunately, but this could still be PB pace.
This might be the best run of the whole thing.
Wow, what a great run still from Monty. Just a little bit short there, but man, he was making my heart rush there too. Hopefully he gets this PB. That would be super good for him.
Second tier, unfortunately.
This might be it though. This is looking good for him. Oh, the chain popped down. Oh no, Bowser, why you do this to us? Oh, man, the heartbreak from Bowser. He's still got time to get the PB though. But this is what Bowser does, man. This is what he specializes in. Very unfortunate, but yeah, with that 7 chain, maybe an 8 chain, maybe a 9 chain, maybe a 10 chain. Go for the 11, Bowser. Oh, dude.
Yeah, none of these runs are over. Dang. It's not over unless Bowser dies, as we see. Everything can go well, and then he'll just 10 chain.
Now, I think Bowser was pretty stingy at the beginning, and we did mention Monty dropped his chain at the very beginning. I don't think it would have been possible, but I'm wondering if he would have sent like a solid 3 chain with, you know, like a 2-5 combos in between. I'd have to go back and look at it. Like I said, I think Bowser was just playing really stingy, but man, that was an insane run at the very end.
Yeah, I think that's the second best attempt at this point for the world record. Because I think the only sub-8 that Yoshi had was the 752, so...
Yeah, well, good stuff to Monty. He does get the second best time in the stream so far. Super close to a PB. I hope he didn't get super nervous at the end. I mean, it happens to us all, but that was a really entertaining run to watch at the very end because he had
really
like
exciting.
the best pace heading into the cave. He had 3 super quick kills. Just unfortunately a little bit short at the end of the run. But, you know, that's the life of a Tetris Attack player. You gotta deal with it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to talk to him at the end of this exhibition to see if he was just pretty nervous at the end there. But as we try to recover from that heart-throbbing run there, we have FFR going on a little bit of a run currently now, too. So, Froggy at almost 3 minutes in. He's got to get this kill probably right now, which he did send appropriate garbage follow-ups at the end. So he has a pretty decently paced run heading into stage 6 here. Did Cards get a 748?
I'm not sure. I know that you were mentioning a 748 as one of his previous times, but I don't know if he got it on stream or not.
Huh. He might have. If so, yeah, since we've had a lot of internet issues on his side. I remember we were commentating that one run that was on pace, but it kind of just like faded out during Bowser. So if that is the case, yeah, we've had 3 of our 4 runners finish a sub 8 run, which is very incredible. Because as we mentioned before, they are the only 4 runners to have sub 8s. So yep. Yeah, we just must have missed it. My apologies on that. Alright, FFR Pro on Lungefish at 4 minutes in. He's gonna need a lot of luck at this point in the game right now. You better be careful. He almost died there, actually. Just one garbage block fell in that top stack. And he was scrambling around for a little bit. He's gonna most likely reset. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, being able to see even more than one sub 8 time on stream is really crazy, considering, again, there's only 4 people who have a sub 8 time to begin with.
And we almost saw that sub 7 time finally happen. Bowser took it away right at the end, though. He needed like a 12-second Bowser, though, which is very, very uncommon.
Really hard.
All right, so what do we got now? Most of them kind of at that stage 1 progress again. Yoshimitsu seems to have a pretty decent run going right now. Flying Wiggler at about 2 minutes in. Haha, the chat was wrong, dude. His fastest time was 8:05. You guys better apologize to me now. He probably said that like 2 minutes ago, but I'm like spacing out, not reading the chat. But I'm glad. I get to brag a little bit, guys. Inflate my ego.
There you go. I'll get you a bicycle pump for Christmas so that way you can inflate it even more.
Dude, that's what I always wanted. But yeah, exactly what Soundhound said. The 752 and the 757 are our 2 sub 8s. And Monty was at like 650 or 640 when he started the Bowser fight. It was painful really to watch the ending. But yeah, it's super close.
FFR getting a 17-second stage 1. Bit of a slower start, but it's not all that bad.
See if Yoshimitsu. Oh no, he couldn't get that kill there, unfortunately. He still has a solid pace heading into the rest of this run. 21 seconds, stage 6 isn't terrible. As long as you can finish, who's upcoming in stage 7? Lunchfish? Yeah. If you can finish Lunchfish, you know, a little over 4 minutes, it's not terrible. But I think at this point in time, like, this game's pretty taxing on you mentally, and when you've been trying to play very hard and you have like heartbreak runs like Monty's, it might be a little bit harder for your later runs to find the matches that you want to do. You know, fatigue setting in and everything.
It's also just a really active run. Your hands are consistently just mashing on the D-pad and on the face buttons to be able to do the quick actions. There's definitely some fatigue that can happen as well, considering they've been grinding for almost 3 hours straight.
Yeah, which this showcase did start at 8 p.m. Eastern time, so close to 3 hours. These guys have been duking it out. Having some pretty close times for the most part. Like we mentioned, 2 sub-8s. They did have a little for fun race at the beginning of this, which I guess technically Cards won. Yoshi had a faster time, but he started late. But in my opinion, I guess if you not paying attention to when to start the race, sometimes it's just your own fault, or I don't know. Yep. At least in most of the tournaments we've organized, we'll ask the players if they want to restart. But if you made a mistake, started on the wrong difficulty, you gotta deal with it and just keep playing. Yeah, we got Yoshi not gonna get this kill on Hookbill. So unfortunately, this run is pretty dead for him right now. There are 12 stages total in this speed run. And so when you get to the last third of the run, which we call the cave, stages 9 through 12, you're looking to maybe enter the Hookbill fight, which is stage 9, at about, you know, the 4.5 to 5 minute range, because that gives you, you know, pretty solid times to deal with the end. And you still got to aim for those quick kills. That's how good the world record is now. You got to aim for those 15-second kills almost every single time.
Well, I mean, FFR is on pretty good pace right now, just slightly over 4 minutes after Lunchfish, exactly as you were describing.
Yeah, this is not too bad. It kind of like slipped past me when I was paying attention to Yoshimitsu for a little bit. So yeah, FFR, let's see what he can do with Raphael here. We've seen, you know, pretty fast times to the end from about just every single person. FFR sending a really big chain, though. This might not be the best for him in the end, but Raphael ignores that left stack, and he's going to die. So, all right, time to turn our eyes to FFR Pro's screen at the top right. Let's see what he can do with the cave.
Yeah, this is pretty good pace right now. That's a really nice stack, too. Good start right there with the hearts and the stars.
You know, it's funny, in Pokemon Puzzle League, I hate when the groups are all so cluttered, but it works out so well in Tetris Attack. He gets up really good chain follow-up with some garbage intact. Let's see how Hookbill reacts. He's going to lower his stack a lot, so did FFR send enough? And it doesn't look like it. One line short, but Hookbill does not find the clear.
24 seconds, that's not too bad, not too bad.
So that's not exactly what FFR wanted. He can still get the record at this point, and he's well on PB pace, but he's going to need to get a lot of those 15-second kills or lower at this point in time, which involves, you know, you got to find these combos quick and do like some lag chains or other things to that sort, and hope that the AI plays with a high stack. So far, Piranha did chain off a little bit. This is looking kind of rough for FFR right now, and he's got to deal with this big garbage block he's got to clear. He could get the kill here if Piranha doesn't find anything, though, which he does.
27 seconds. Even if he doesn't get world record, he might be another runner to get sub 8 on stream. But it's still looking... It's looking.
I never lose faith in the run unless it's completely dead, which I think it is now, though. But PB pace, we root for the PB here.
Yep.
Because he's got plenty of time for PB, and he has a really good follow-up. Cam explain with some high stacks here, too. This could be it. Oh, she finds the triangles. Yeah, please stop chaining and finding clears for us, Kamek. Just start going to stack lowering mode. Oh, but FFR didn't do enough on the follow-up here. Oh, this might be the end of his run right now. It's still possible. Like, we could see the 10-second Bowser pop up on his screen instead.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what do we got? No, it's gonna get the diamonds right there. Reset. Yep.
Yeah, that was super unfortunate for FFR. He had one of the best runs going so far, and you know, we've mentioned it several times. The cave's brutal. Sometimes it's just not going to be the best for you. Yoshi did something pretty funny on his screen. He like had a bunch of 4 combos lined up and just did them all back to back. As you can see, all the little tiny garbage blocks stacked on top. I've seen like 9 of those stacked up before, and it just looks so funny. It's just a lot of these 3 wide garbage blocks just falling down. Alrighty. So I guess Yoshimitsu's the next person to step up a little bit here. Blarg's giving him a little bit of trouble. 3.5 minutes, maybe a little bit too long for this match, especially since he went up and got that second tier clear twice now. Yeah, I think we're going to see a reset. I'm going to predict in 3 seconds from Yoshimitsu. A little longer than 3. He's going to reset, though. I feel it. He's going to reset. Don't prove me wrong, Yoshimitsu.
And is he going to reset? Probably.
There's no way. Maybe he's just continuing out for fun, because we are at 11 here. I'm not sure exactly when these runners are going to stop, but we are drawing to the conclusion of this event pretty soon here. So we got a couple last attempts from these runners. Let's see if we can see something special happen at the last second. With a game like Tetris Attack, who knows? To update anyone that's maybe tuning in to the tail end here, we have not had anyone beat the record so far in this stream. We've had some really close runs so far, especially the most recent one from Monty, who had a world record pace heading into Bowser, but unfortunately just got a little bit unlucky, but finished with a sub 8 time.
Yep, we've had 2 runners be under a minute for trying to beat the world record, which is really close, all things considering.
That's why Yoshi didn't reset. He got 12-second on Raphael. It's probably the quickest one of the night so far.
That's exactly why it's so close, because you can get a 12-second stage, you can get like a 30-second stage.
Yeah, I think Yoshi's just gonna end up finishing this run, because sometimes after so many resets, you just want that,
You just want to clear, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just chill to listen to this music right now, especially since we have, like, Lakitus's played the most, but it's definitely one I can listen to over and over again.
Yeah, the soundtrack in this game, I don't think it's the greatest, but it's definitely fairly relaxing. Unlike Pokemon Puzzle League, for example, where I can't even bother listening to the music in that game. My TV gets put on like minimal volume, and I just listen to Spotify or something because I can't handle it.
Yeah, Pokemon Puzzle League is best described as elevator music, in my opinion. I like it because it's a lot of the stuff from, like, the anime, the 2BA soundtrack, but, you know, very minimal for the game.
It just doesn't suit the kind of feel you want to be in when you're playing puzzle games, I think.
Oh, Yoshi got a 10-second Kamek on his end.
Might get another sub 8, maybe?
A 10-second Kamek. If he got a sub 8 after that, who was it, Hook Bill? That could have been a world record, dude. Unbelievable. Let's see this ending on Bowser. I'll cry. Oh my god, this is like the setup too. Yeah, Bowser's gonna troll a little bit longer though. Like he's been doing the entire stream.
What is gonna happen here? Thing is, it doesn't really leave him much. No, there was the second tier right there.
Yeah, Bowser's gonna have a little bit of wiggle room here too, since all the garbage was cleared off of his screen. Yeah, no sub 8, unfortunately.
Dang.
That was crazy though that he still could have gotten sub 8 on that run. It still blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Bowser, man. How long are you going to delay another match on stream for us, dude?
Almost a minute and a half. It's crazy.
He is the true final boss. Like, we have a joke on Pokemon Puzzle League. The hashtag Mewtwo is free, because generally, when you play against Mewtwo, who's the final opponent of that game, a lot of people will just quick kill him and end up finishing fast. It's more the, like, mid and early game that ruins that run. But here, man, it's always Bowser as, oh man, Yoshi's taking a death on him, and then he's just gonna reset away that run. Bowser says no, man, you can't beat him.
One thing that I don't think any of us actually mentioned is that the end credits actually changes depending on if you've taken a death or not in your run. If you take a death, Yoshi will be like, I feel like we could have done better, or something along those lines. Which basically tells you to try again, but don't die this time.
Doesn't it still do something similar like that even without a death?
No, I think it does I think it does change the text when you do it without a death.
Oh, you know what I'm thinking of? The Game Boy Color variant of this game.
Yeah.
Not Tetris Attack, but Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. You beat it without continues, and then it still mocks you and says get better at the game.
That one I do believe it does still bother you, even if you do it without dying. It was like they just forgot to implement that check.
So it looks like we are going to have a little bit more on the runs, though, as long as these guys are up for it. So since I've done this every hour, if you guys are new to the stream watching this is Chase for the Record. It is a segment where we take some of the best runners from each respective game to see if they can beat the world record in a couple hours. We got Tetris Attack on case now, one of the premier puzzle games. The 4 best runners on the leaderboards are trying to get the world record for the versus come very hard category. And we've had some pretty good runs so far for the night, but no one has seemed to topple it. Which is funny because Cards of the Heart owns the world record of 701, which you see in the middle there, which he just set last week, actually. So he decided he didn't want to save his luck for this stream and just decided to beat it last week in preparation for it. So we got FFR. He's actually on a really good pace heading into Wiggler here. I don't think he sent a lot of garbage in his chain. That's why he extended it out a lot, which could actually end up working out because Flying Wiggler cleared almost all of his blocks. But unfortunately, just a little bit slow on topping off and didn't get the kill, so that's going to lead to a reset. I just noticed Cards is up pretty late into a run right now, too. Over world record, but he's got that chance to join the sub-8 club for today. It's going to be a little bit tough. He's got to kill Kamek pretty soon here, though. And Kamek's got some clears at his disposal. Man, I should just stop mentioning the pace of the runners, because that's when it dies.
You're just killing it all.
I'm the reason Monty's run didn't get a PB or world record.
I could subscribe to that theory. See, this is why I leave the analyst commentary to you, and I just get to do color commentary because I can't really curse anything.
You're like, if someone's gonna go down, let it be him and not me.
Yep.
Dude, smart moves. Gotta give you some props there.
I have my moments.
Alright, we got some runs all over the board right now. Yoshi, quick start to this run right now, and he might get another quick one there with the 12. Okay, Yoshi's got a really incredible start at the beginning of this. FFR Pro getting almost to the midway point of the run at a very good pace. We got Cards and Monty doing some resets right now. Look at it. There's all those 4 combos stacked on top of FFR's screen, like I mentioned earlier. You just want to try to avoid those as much as you can because it's so easy to find them, but just go out of your way a little bit to find that 5. Because they really do stack better in the end. After that explosive start, Yoshi getting a little bit unlucky here on stage 4. He'll probably be able to get this follow-up kill, though, on Wiggler. Unless the second tier happens, in which
unfortunate all around.
Might induce a restart here, but I think Yoshi's going to keep going for it because, you know, the beginning stages were all really, really solid. So, you know, even with a 30-second time, you can still get world record off of it, but you just got a lot to make up later on.
Monty with the reset there. FFR getting a really good start time of 12 seconds. Considering that's only 1 more second compared to the optimal start that Cards finds with his RNG manipulation. That's pretty good.
Hey, Yoshi's still committing to this run, which it does have some potential still right now. He should finish up Blarg at a very quick time there, 13 seconds. 3:30 at the end of Blarg. Definitely very possible. You get a quick kill on Froggy, and you're looking at that 4-minute time like I've mentioned before. And so, yeah, this run still has pretty good pace on getting there. Could we see the world record get toppled at the very end of this?
It'll be close. It'll be close.
He sent a good follow-up. The clear's there, but will he... Oh, yeah, he keeps finding clears pretty immediately. This could be something if... Oh, he didn't send too much garbage on the follow-up.
No,
I think he kind of figured... he's pretty good at doing follow-ups for the most part, but I don't know. Maybe he's just, like... I would assume pretty demotivated by this run in general after that 30-second fight. That, you know, when someone makes that many clears, you're just like, I don't want to continue this run. Yeah, now you got Lunchfish going on 50 seconds there. He's going to reset.
FFR still going on pretty good pace. Got a 20-second stage. I think the last one was 24 seconds or something like that, so overall, still doing pretty good.
Yeah, I want to see FFR bust out a good run. Oh,
wow.
he got like 2 sick combos at the beginning.
That was crazy.
That's going to help. Hopefully, we see Froggy not do anything here. All of his garbage didn't send, so this might be good for him, as you see it all stack up, but just a little bit short on topping out. And we got 2 runs going from Cards and Monty side by side here. Cards with a pretty big lead over Monty, though, of 10 seconds, but both still doing really, really well. Because Cards had his consistent 11 at the beginning of his first match and then got a 10. He likes to pull off a 10 on the second match, I see quite a bit. But Monty's going to keep that consistency up, and he's going to be heading into stage 4 now. We got like 3 runners right around that same mark, though. I could see Cards resetting pretty soon, though. And Yoshi's going to get that force kill over there. I guess Bucci did have 1 clear still, though.
Wasn't enough.
Monty's doing really well, though. He's looking to maybe repeat that performance for earlier and hoping that Bowser result's going to change. I feel like Monty is a very momentum-based player. Like, he definitely has the skills to do stuff. It's just like Yoshi has the most consistency, and you'll see him pull out those world record pace runs more. But when Monty is like feeling it, good stuff happens from him. And then, a little bit short on the garbage clear there. But he pulls out these runs out of nowhere, and he had the best pace run of the night going into Bowser, and just was a little bit short of making it happen. But even with that 26 Froggy there, he's still got a bunch of time to work with. 3 minutes heading into Blarg. Let's see what he can do. Well, that's a statement there with the 12-second on Blarg.
Gonna say that's a really good stage 6 right there.
Yeah, as everyone else has been doing resets right now, Monty looking to do another run. I hope he at least gets a PB, man. That one run was just heartbreaking for real.
It was. I think he deserves a PB after that.
He didn't have the greatest chain at the beginning here. He's hoping he can find a follow-up really quick. But Lungefish playing with a really high right stack, and he's going to get that kill. So that's when that luck factor plays in a little bit there. You know, not the best follow-up, but sometimes the AI is just not paying attention. You'll get that kill. All right, if Monty can get a quick kill here, this will be very reminiscent of his past run that he did, because he finished it about 4.5 minutes in, and he's got a really good follow-up so far. Oh, and Raphael just raised his stack, so this could be good if he stops doing clears right here. This might be the kill.
Yep.
Okay, Monty heading into the cave with a really good pace. Oh, man, please don't repeat the results of last time. Let's go, Monty. All right, starting off with 2-4 combos. He missed the last one at the end, but Hook Bill's not doing a lot. He's going to find some more chains at the bottoms. Monty's probably going to need to have a decent follow-up here.
Yeah, the 5 combo.
This could be enough. I'm not sure. We'll see when this falls. Is this going to be enough? The second tier bails out Hook Bill, though. This is looking rough so far.
32 seconds. That's a lot higher than we'd like to see.
Yeah, unfortunately. Luckily for him, he did have a good pace going into this. It's still possible. He needs some really quick stages from here on out, though, which I think is exactly what happened last time. He didn't have that long of a hook build, but it was still a little bit long. And then his Piranha and Kamek were super fast. But he's not getting the greatest start right now, so this might be it for this attempt for him. A decent follow-up. It's not going to top off Piranha, though. And yeah, that's going to officially kill the run.
There was just only a little bit more garbage. That would have been really nice because they didn't clear the hearts in time for it to actually clear the garbage.
Well, the good thing for Monty is, even though world record is not possible at this point in time, let's see if he can actually beat his PB now, because he can get 2 quick stages to end here, and I'd love to see a 7:30 get pulled out by Monty.
It's probably a lot better this time because he knows that he can't get world record anymore, but personal best is probably a little bit less nerve-wracking.
And for the people watching, Monty has a personal best of 7:48, so he does have quite a bit of time to play with here. But, man, he's just dropping a lot of chains right now. I hope he can maybe recover a little bit. Oh, Kamek playing with the high stack, but it's going to lower it all and not be topped off here at the end. Let's see what kind of follow-up Monty can have here. Oh, you got a 5-chain off of that. Did you see that? Well, that was weird. Sometimes Tetris Attack's engine can give you chains that are just odd, to say the least. But Kamek dragging on quite a while here. This is probably the end of his PB attempt as well, unfortunately.
Yeah. Past 7:30, so there's no way that it could happen.
You know what? As we've been watching Monty, though, we got Yoshimitsu on a stage 9 run as well. So now that sub 8's impossible for Monty, let's check out Yoshimitsu. And Hookbill's not doing a lot. This could be the kill that he wants here. Is he going to find clears immediately? He's still chaining.
Chaining near the bottom, though. Stop time's going to run out eventually.
Yeah, I hate when they get into that mode because, you know, they just go for the clears even though they weren't going to be in enough time for the chain. They're still going to go for those clears because that was like the thought process of the CPU. So it ends up wasting probably 10 more seconds than it should have been. But he ended up finishing it 6 minutes in a Piranha. Very unlikely at this point. Yep. Probably impossible.
We would like to be proven otherwise.
For sure, for sure. Very good start here, though. Piranha's probably going to have a little bit of a chain upcoming. But let's see what happens here. Yeah, opposite stacks here, so Piranha's going to have to lower blocks. Let's see if Piranha finds a clear. Oh, and the Reds will just line up there at the end.
Maybe still sub 8? Maybe? Probably. Hopefully.
It's possible. He could get a new best time for the day too, because they have all been high 7-minute times. So you get a quick Kamek, quick Bowser, beat that 752 that was set earlier.
See, I like what Yoshi just did there, because it's something that you would see only of his high skill to do. I saw the 5 combo as it happened there, but what he actually did was he moved the start panel out of the way to set up the chain underneath when he, I'm just going to use like MOBA terms, procs, the 5 combo. Normally at like a casual level you wouldn't see that there, you would just see, oh my god, I got 5 stars that I can put together for a combo. Yeah, because I see it in chat. The game only bears the Tetris name because Nintendo was like, let's use the Tetris name, A, because we own it, and B, because it will help sell this game in the West a lot better. And
yep, basically. If you want to see a detailed explanation of it, Aries gave a pretty good one towards the beginning of this broadcast that I'd recommend listening to.
I've done quite a few lore updates in the stream.
Man, I haven't seen a recent Bowser fight that's like gone under 30 seconds. He's the biggest troll of the day for sure.
Yeah. Going over a minute now. Crazy.
We got cards starting something at the top left though. Flying Wiggler he can finish within 2 minutes, which would be a really, really good time. Which I'm not sure. I don't think he sent the greatest amount of garbage, and Wiggler's being a little bit uncooperative as well.
Dang, almost 2 minutes. Bowser's the real run killer. He's the real villain in this whole game.
It takes Yoshi to fill up his entire screen just to kill him, man. 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
Actually, I think Cards also mentioned in chat earlier that he had a 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Bowser at one point. Crazy.
Yeah, makes sense, man. Bowser's brutal. Get to hear that amazing sound effects at the end of there, the Bowser as he disappears, man. Yoshi makes him vanish into thin air, dude. I love the end credits. Maybe you'll watch them a little bit, but it's just like this random, what is it, the red Yoshi or something?
No, it's like the half-size green Yoshi or whatever.
Wait, here we go. Who's coming?
No,
we won't know. It's a mystery.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that you have to go through the whole kind of really boring cutscene at the end just to get the end credits. Mm-hmm. There's no way to really skip it.
Alright, we got Cards and FFR both on pretty solid runs right now. Cards can hopefully finish off this lunge fish. He doesn't have the greatest garbage scent. It's going to be a pretty decent follow-up that might kill, though. And that it will, 22 seconds. Hopefully FFR can find the follow-up himself pretty soon here, but it looks like Blarg's doing a little bit of chaining himself.
Still possible that we can get good runs right now out of both top half Cards and FFR. It's a really large combo from Cards' side.
Let's see what drops. Not really that much. Yeah, he should have. He needed that really bad because now it's over 5 minutes. Raphael's going on above 40 seconds now, and yep, there's the reset. So I believe we're coming to the end of this broadcast, though. We might just see a couple more attempts from each one of these people. And if that's the case, yeah, we appreciate everyone who stopped by to check out Tetris Attack today. It's been a blast reading what you guys have been talking about in chat and everything.
It's really awesome to see so many people interested in this game that we really much appreciate and just want to share. Because puzzle games definitely do not get their time in the daylight compared to other games. Also, it's kind of really impossible that this game does get re-released at any point until Nintendo owns the rights to then use the name Tetris again, which looks kind of unlikely at this point in time, since the rights have been kind of bouncing around everywhere. So.
That's why you see Pokemon Puzzle League getting a virtual console release and not Tetris Attack.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the SNES Mini and the Super Famicom Mini, like those new ones that came out, Paneled Upon is in the Japanese Mini Super Famicom. Tetris Attack is not out for obvious reasons on the SNES Mini. It's really funny because all they would have to do is just call the game Yoshi's Paneled Upon as they did in Japan, but I guess they just don't have the means to do it, which I don't doubt because with this game and Paneled Upon, all the graphics are actually compressed for the Super Nintendo, and nobody knows how to decompress them, so if Nintendo lost the notes in the source code, which very well possible it could happen, they probably have no way to actually easily change the title on the game itself. There was one person who figured it out when they translated Paneled Upon into English, and they never shared how they did it, so if you can search far and wide and you will not find how to change the graphics in this game, or decompress and recompress them. So unless people are fine with just like the Japanese menus, I don't think this game will ever get released in its current state.
Which is a shame, but oh well. Hopefully we can see another game in the series in the future, or there's some promising side projects. Shoutouts to Superplexus and Medley Studio. That's a game out on iOS right now that has some pretty high hopes, and I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a little bit of a twist. It's not the exact formula, but it's super fun coming from a Puzzle League Tetris Attack player.
It was heavily inspired by games like Tetris Attack and Pokemon Puzzle League, so...
So as you see, we got a couple starting. I think we're figuring out if we want to do a race to end it off, or we just might end it here. I think we're waiting for a couple others to make a decision right now. But while we are deciding that, like I said, thanks for everyone who's stopping by. SpeedGaming does a lot of great events like this one, and restreaming marathon events, tournaments, things like that. If you're interested in speedrunning at all, you need to follow these channels if you haven't yet. They have a Link to the Past randomizer going on right now. They have Super Mario Odyssey tournament, Mega Man, Super Mario 64, tons of other things. And they're doing showcases this month. So if you're in a speedrunning community and want to show off a community race of your own, you should get in contact with these guys, because they definitely want to show off all the communities out there. But a little bit about us as well. Myself and Dark Aries are from a community called Puzzle General, and we started in the community of games like Tetris Attack and Puzzle League, and have recently expanded to just all kinds of puzzle games. So if you guys want to check us out, you can find us at discord.puzzlegeneral.com, as well as on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. We do events similarly to these, except we might not focus on speedruns sometimes. We're just all about puzzle content.
Yeah, I mean, even recently, the new Puzzle Fighter for Android and iOS came out. There's some chatter in our Discord just about that. People come in, they ask, oh, has anybody played this puzzle game? And somebody will be like, yep. Because we just love basically all sorts of puzzle games, so...
Oh, looks like the link's not working, apparently.
I want to test it. Now it works. Discord.puzzlegeneral.com.
Actually, it's not working on my end.
It might be a routing issue.
Let me grab a different link really quick for you guys.
Shouldn't this one work? Let me try it. Oh,
that one should work for sure. My bad. We'll yell at our other friend to try to get that working in the future. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. That link just posted in there if you guys want to check us out. And then we've had other communities associated with us, like Tetris Attack Online. You got timed out.
Yeah, I forgot I'm not mod in the channel, but bit.ly/puzzle general and all.
Oh yeah, that one works too.
We have a few links to try to make life easy.
But yeah, check out that. The other link will be up eventually if you just want to check it out later. Community Tetris Attack Online, we're linked within our Discord. You can find an invite there. Or I'm pretty sure you can just search Puzzle General online and you'll figure out how to be in contact with us. But yeah, I guess that's it for us. Special shout outs to SpeedGaming for letting us show this. Fiesel, the man behind the scenes who we've worked with for over a year now with various tournaments since our Tetris Attack tournament last year. Major thanks to him for letting us do this. And the runners specifically who took 3.5 hours of their time to do runs tonight.
Yep.
I guess we'll watch the end of this Yoshimitsu run and he might reset pretty soon, but yeah, that's about it for us. Any last words from you, Aries?
Not really. Just thank you to everybody who decided to come and watch today. It makes me really happy to see so many people are interested in a game like Tetris Attack. I know it's not Super Metroid or A Link to the Past or anything like that, but I still think it's a really interesting game that showcases a lot of skill. And I'm happy to see that there's other people who agree with me. And yeah, thank you to Fiesel for giving us an outlet to be able to show this for Chase the Record. It's really great when puzzle games get to be in events like this, I think, so.
Yeah, and follow SpeedGaming, of course. I don't think there's anything for the rest of the night on this specific channel. But if you want to watch some more speedrun type stuff, go to SpeedGaming 2. There's a Link to the Past randomizer happening right now. And I don't know about you guys, but there's a reason it's the most viewed because it's so entertaining to watch. So highly recommend that. But yeah, for Dark Aries and myself, all the runners, all Puzzle General community, and SpeedGaming, thank you guys for watching. And hopefully we'll see you guys pretty soon.
Yep, see ya.